Was as far as the character, whenever you do the setup, if we're playing in the wasteland or anywhere
Yeah,
else, whatever we're playing.
I spent time bright and early this morning, kind of coming up with the setting for this
The setting, the
playtest.
situation.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so before you make a character, I'll give you that information. All right, so
Well, no,
good.
I wasn't wanting that information because you could just lay that out for me. I'm just saying I can fold in my character at the time. You know what I mean? As far as what he is, because I'm just kind of envisioning and
Well,
throwing
you
it in
need to
there.
have some
But
information.
yeah,
You need to know so much here, right? I mean, it's only a handful of pieces of information, right?
got
Okay. So anyway, we're going to be good morning, everyone. This is Roleplay Cafe. I'm Jason. I'm here with Dell. We are play testing Space Age of Man. This particular play test is much further along in our theoretical workings, as we've got mechanics that we I think both really want, but what we haven't decided is how we're going to go about the GM's role versus the player's role. So today we're going to go with my extreme ideas. The GM roles everything. The players role play. They're in character. They never reference the dice. They never roll the dice. I will be rolling for everything. So this is going to be a real challenge for me as a GM. And again, for Dell, if he's like me, and I think he is, he'd like to not roll ever as a character in character. That's me. I would like to not roll dice. So ironically, as players, we would love this type of thing. I think it's going to be formidable for me to roll everything. But I think that's one of the things we want to play test. How do we want the GM's role? How do we want the player's role? Okay, it's enough of that. All right, we are, those who don't know, Space Age of Man, every chapter will be related to a a time in the timeline, on the timeline of Space Age of Man. So for instance, this might be chapter 8, 2071, the Wastelands, right? So when you want to play the Wastelands on Earth, you would go to chapter 8, and this is where we would highlight, that particular setting in the book, right? So for instance, this is chapter 8 of what I've scribbled down, 2071. So Dell, it's going to be spring, somewhere in old USA, Rocky Mountains, the high country. You are working for a company called Prime Earth, PE they call it, PE. You guys are PE contractors. Prime Earth. You have a driver named Ronnie, a young man, 26-year-old male. He carries a traditional old world pistol with 6 bullets that he is very, very proud of. He cleans it. He has 6 bullets, and he counts them religiously. It's how he burns off anxiety. He can be at times very quiet, but this pistol is the love of his life, and he is your driver. Sarah is with you. She is a geologist. She's 31, female, and she carries scientific gear for analyzing minerals and for locating particular rare earth minerals. Okay, you have an ST. ST refers to a solar truck. This is a truck. It seats four wheels, and it has run by solar power. There's solar panels on the top, solar panels on the hood. There's a battery that will allow it to run when there's not, for about 2 to 3 hours without any solar power. It is packed with camping gear, mining gear, food, and water rations for all 3 of you. You, Dell, I don't know who you are yet. We don't know anything about you, but you carry what's called a ball gun rifle. It's a compression weapon, means you have to pump it. It's an air rifle. You pump it, you get 1 shot. It shoots 9mm lead balls, so it's a ball gun. However, it is famous for being able to shoot anything you can drop into the barrel that would fit into the barrel. So you could shoot pebbles, you could shoot steel balls, lead balls. However, it's obviously more accurate if you're shooting lightweight aluminum balls. However, this particular gun has some lead. You're going to have some lead pellets, and we'll roll those before. Matter of fact, we'll right now see in your pocket you have 2 lead bullets. But again, any rock you can find, or pebble, or whatever that you can find that drops into that barrel can be launched. It has some values here. Short range, it's limited to short range. However, it shoots a high velocity ball that is incredibly deadly. It tends to cripple or kill depending on where you hit. So it can destroy limbs. It can render something immobile, and if you hit critical areas, it can kill in one shot. It is poor accuracy because it is a pump action, and its accuracy can slightly improve based on the quality of the ball that's in the gun. All right. You have currently been tasked by PE to scout an old mine area outside of Denver Metro. You are about 40 miles west in the high country outside of Denver off I-70 in what is referred to as Georgetown. This was an old mining town, and it was a popular town before the event that ended civilization as things began to degrade. Georgetown, is run by the Cutters, and the leader of the Cutters calls himself George. As a matter of fact, any leader of the Cutters takes the title George Cutter. They are wary of outsiders, but they do trade. They will barter and trade with outsiders. And there are a band of bandits in the area that are referred to as independents. They call them Indies, referring to their independence. They refuse to work with civilization. They are scavengers, thieves, bandits, and they are supposedly led by a person that calls themselves Lobo. And that's what you know as you sit in the countryside here, the solar vehicle parked in a cusp of trees, as Ronnie sits working on the back solar panel. It is spring. There is still some snow. There's still some runoff. And it still can be cold in the evenings and in the mornings. So now, with that said, you now have a setting. You now know where you're at. You know what you're about. What are you doing?
We're in the solar truck heading toward our destination.
Well, you're currently stopped. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You telling me? Are you asking?
Yeah. No. I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now we're in the truck. I'm looking over at Sarah. You got your gear in? You tied up? You tie things in the back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she sits staring out the back passenger window, and nervous as she has been this entire trip. This is the first time she's ever been sent into the field to actually look for minerals, to actually find an old mine or find trace minerals. And so she's been very nervous.
Don't be worried, Miss Sarah. We'll protect you. And I lean in and pat my ball gun.
Mm-hmm.
And reach over and shoulder. I'm sitting shotgun. Shoulder Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
You ready, bud?
Yep.
Let's get the show on the road.
So he starts up the four-wheel truck. It is a hum, quiet. This thing runs really outside of what the hum of the engine, the hum of the parts. It creaks louder than it makes noise. As this is basically an electric vehicle, so it hums to life. You can feel a slight vibration, but it makes more noise driving over the terrain and the creaking of the truck, etc. As he begins to move up through. You are currently, or he has been currently, following an old railroad track. You know from some information PE had given you before this excursion that they told you follow old railroad tracks. Those generally led to mines, or they led to mining towns, etc. And again, you're aware that the number one silver mine in the area, the Silver Queen, in the 1800s, produced more silver than any mine in North America. So that's hope. They're hoping to find silver. So you know what you're looking for, right?
Well, yeah, I'm a local, but I am a minor, so I'd been contracted out by the company to kind of lead or scout out and this expedition to
Okay,
take us
so
there.
Ronnie looks at you and says, "Where to, Chief? You're the miner. You know what we're looking for."
Well, yeah, it's part of the briefing. You know where to go, Ronnie.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know where to go. 6 bullets, and I wink at him, kind of smile or whatever like that. Is
Mm-hmm.
he's caressing the his bullets in his hand. I can see him taking 2 of them and kind of rolling them around like like the meditation balls or whatever like that. And, straight down the tracks. Let's get to the Silver Queen.
Okay. So you're humming along again. You hear the road. You hear the gravel under the vehicle. You hear the creaking of this
Now I'm
truck.
scanning as I say this. I'm nervous to look around. Yeah, kind of broke up there. But as I'm scanning this, I look around and with a line of the horizon for any indication of others that may be in the territory.
Yeah, you see movement along the horizon between the trees at about 50 yards backlit by the sun coming up. The it's coming kind of as you're scanning back over your shoulders. You guys are moving westward up into the mountains. You scan around, look kind of back. You see something along the horizon, backlit by the sun. And she, at the same time that you think you see something, she gasps. It's clear as you see this that she must see it too, and you see her scooch down in the seat as there's something moving.
I reach out. Yeah, I reach over and grab her hand and squeeze it a little tight. Stay steady, Miss Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see. We'll see who they are. And I'm rubbernecking a little bit and craning his
you lose them at times
drop.
because they are backlit. You might see a dark shadow between trees. They're maybe 15 to 20 yards at times. However, they're trying to parallel you, but as Ronnie's moving along here, there's times where they seem to catch up. There's times where he seems to get away from them as he finds easier ground. They're not hard to say maybe how many, hard to say exactly what they may be. Could be deer, but you are aware there are the Indies out here, right?
Ronnie, pull up behind that crop rocks.
You sure, boss?
Pull over. We gotta. Don't get us in a bad position, but at least there we'll have.
Okay, you've locked up, so you want him to park.
Yeah, I said go ahead and pull up behind that crop of rocks over there.
Okay,
And,
so he whips it
at least
to
we'll
the
have
left
some safety.
and whips in behind these rocks, and he hits the button in which you hear you feel more of the engine stop as opposed to hearing it stop. Right, it's like the vehicle stops rattling, and he immediately pulls his weapon and puts the 2 bullets he's been playing with in with the other 6, spins the cylinder, and kind of looks at you and says, I might get to use this, and he slides it into his holster. He's left-handed.
Ronnie, I look at him kind of, when he says that, and I'll glance toward Sarah in the back and make him notice her, to give him the eye.
Oh, yeah, I'll keep an eye on her. That's what I mean, boss. I won't let anything get to Sarah.
Yeah, keep the tone down, keep it happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I slide out of the side and walk around to the corner of the
she sits
rock.
up enough to lean her head out the window as you slide out. Are you crazy? Why don't we just keep heading up to the mine tailings? What are you doing?
Somebody's. I need to clear this up. First off, lay low.
Okay, she frowns her brow or furrows her brow, and then you see her slide down into the seat, and you actually watch her kind of curl up behind the seat, in the hole in the in the foot, area
Yeah.
of the back of the vehicle. And you see her reach up and fumble around until she pulls a shovel out and down, and she's gripping a shovel behind the seat with 2 hands.
Okay, and that disappears as I go kind of around the rock and look out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm scanning, cursing myself because I should have brought some binoculars or something.
Mm-hmm.
But to my chagrin, I haven't. But
Okay.
I'll lay low. I know these lands. I know who travels them.
Okay.
You know, so I'm looking out for Indies, is what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah,
As I'm peering
and
out
you
there.
feel a bump as Ronnie drops in beside you. You see anything, boss? And he pokes his head up over the rocks, looking. You can hear his gun as he's got it in his left hand. As he reaches up, he smacks it against the rock. And he's looking over the rock. Clearly, old enough to know better, but clearly has not seen much
don't make
action.
Any movements, and don't be seeing this. How we notice them.
Right.
So if they're just passerbys or non-hostiles,
Okay.
we'll let them go. We'll
Yeah.
talk to them, but we don't need to be looking over his shoulder every minute.
Okay. So he slides down and peeks around the rock. In about 5 minutes or so, you do hear. You don't really see it, but you hear the crunching. I think you locked up.
You said 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. After while you sit quietly observing and listening, you hear it. You don't see anything, but you can hear the movement of somebody moving through the brush, the trees under their feet. You make out through your talents that this is clearly what you thought, a bipedal creature, something on 2 feet. It stops. It moves cautiously. Then you'll hear step and step. So it's clearly.
I'm readying my ball gun or whatever and just aiming.
As you stick your head out with the ball gun, looking. Again, you don't see any movement, but you haven't heard anything since you stuck your head out. So, no, you're not hearing any more movement. You're not seeing anything.
Okay. I look at Ronnie. Ronnie, stay right here. I'm trying to flush him out. Don't be trigger happy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, he looks at you now, and you now can see that he's that kind of boyish joy as he's starting to feel it's getting serious. Is gone, and he holds his weapon up and nods at you without saying a word.
Okay, I'm gonna slip off from behind the rocks. It's best, from my understanding, going around to flank or flush out whoever this is.
Okay, and as you,
I'm gonna try to lightly step my way around.
Okay. And as you're moving, you now hear something again move and parallel you, but you haven't seen anything. But something is also moving. It seems about the time you are, and you do spot in about 12 yards from you what appears to be a savage, somebody dressed in furs, leathers. They carry, it looks like, some kind of weapon in their hands. They've got it looks like it's a mane of, say, a wolf's mane, head, etc. And he steps out and then dodges back behind the tree. And then you hear to your left movement, right? And now you realize there may be more than one person out here.
Okay.
You don't hear anything from Ronnie.
Stop.
You don't hear anything behind you back toward the vehicle, right?
I stop and retrace my steps, as low as possible,
Okay.
and pull up behind the rocks. The truck, and Ronnie's still there?
Yeah, Ronnie's, watches you come back and says, "What's going on?"
There's more than one of them. They're split up. I think Miss Sarah may have a point. I need you to slip in there and crank it, get it running and back on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna hop in and be in the back. Get Miss Sarah in the front with you, and I'll be in the back.
Okay. So
We need to kick up some rock as we get
okay.
get out of here.
As he holsters his weapon on all fours, backs away, and then quickly turns and sprints toward the vehicle. As you follow suit, you can hear some scrambling behind you as if somebody is making chase. As you glance, I'm assuming you would naturally glance back at times. You don't actually see anybody, but you can hear. So they're either definitely finding cover, they're moving through cover, but you haven't seen them actually on your heels, but you can hear them moving with you. As you bang into the truck, Ronnie tells Sarah to get in the front, and as you're climbing in the back, she's climbing over the seat into the front seat. He mashes the button, and it jolts to life, and he guns it, which, it being an electric vehicle, instant response, you're kind of thrown back into the seat as it lumbers up onto the old train tracks, and he's now driving as quickly as he can. You see out the back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got myself propped up with the ball gun, looking for any movement in the rear.
Yeah.
And
you see as you're moving up the train tracks, you see stepping out onto the tracks behind you this person you'd seen that was in some kind of wolf pelt, and 3 or 4 others step out onto the tracks watching you drive off up into the tracks. They're not pursuing, they're watching. And you can now count, there's about 5 of them. They're all clearly dressed in leathers, old furs. Most of them appear to be carrying spears or some kind of makeshift bows and arrows. And this may be the person that you've heard of, Lobo, who's the leader of the Indies. They watch as you disappear up the railroad tracks, but they do not chase any further. And you eventually come over a rise of a hill, and they disappear out of your sight because of the hill, not because they move.
To go over the hill, I'll relax my my position and turn around, and it's good. Now they know that we know.
Mm-hmm.
And they've given up chase. They've lost prize. They're on foot. So, Miss Sarah,
mm-hmm.
You doing all right?
Yeah, she clears her throat. Who were those? Who were those people? Are those the Indies? And she knows the answer. It's rhetorical. She knows the answer to that question, and she's heard horror stories her whole life, but has never been out here to witness any of the so-called horror stories.
Yeah, but there's a limit to what they can do. That they just needed to know that we know. Mm-hmm. So if we're passing through the territory, which we are, mm-hmm. That was enough. That was needed, mm-hmm. to let them know that we know.
Okay.
So at least we know where they are, and we've gotten away from them. I think I saw Lobo with them. That's the leader. So we should be good. We should be good to go from here on out. Mm-hmm. But keep alert, yep. And keep that 6 ready, Ronnie, and I'll kind of punch him in the shoulder as he's driving.
Yeah, he kind of glances back at you, smiles as he does. Yes, sir.
You can relax, Miss Sarah. Yeah, kind of shoulder her like that. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. You
can feel the tension in her traps and her shoulder when you just tap her.
Exactly.
She is tense.
No, I'm wanting to, simmer her down. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I'll lean back and try to lay back in a posture of relaxation myself to let it flow over to her in the back seat as we head toward the Queen Mine.
As you climb up, in about 45 minutes, the sky is pretty cloudy. It's a low ceiling, or I should say not a low ceiling, but it's a cloudy day. Ronnie looks at the gauges and says, we're not going to get a lot of solar juice here. We're running on battery. In about 50 minutes or so, you actually get into some snow. It's slow go, and you can tell the battery's waning. and eventually the vehicle dies there on the tracks in snow about 8 to 9 inches deep. And it lurches to a stop, and he looks at you and says, "We're not going any further in this, not until we juice the battery, and we won't be able to juice the batteries." He looks out up at the sky until we get some, direct sunlight.
Yeah.
And Sarah looks about and says, "Now we're done," and she starts to get out of the vehicle.
Oh, no! What's your footing, Miss Sarah? And I'll hop out the side of the vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
and let me find a place for us to pitch tent for the night.
Okay.
Wait till we get some break in these clouds. I'll look around and see the place. I just grab the tent, and it's made of a fabric similar in that can keep heat inside and pull in any available sunlight from the outside to warm the inside. You know what I mean? Just through that, but I know looking at it that it's going to be a little bit of a hard sell, and probably a rough night. But I'll start pitching that tent.
Okay.
Fellow blokes over here, I say.
Okay.
As I try to clear out the area.
So, you successfully get some ground cleared. You start to set this tent. She begins to bring over some of the ration canisters and foodstuffs, camping. I should say the camping stove, etc. And he begins to gather kindling where he can find it. And he's snapping off twigs as opposed to digging through the snow. He seems to be breaking off branches and things like that where he thinks he'll find drier kindling. And they begin to help you kind of make a camp. But the sad thing is it's only maybe noon, right? And you're right smack in the middle of the day in the heavy cloud cover. It's a little breezy, and you're starting to see snowflakes as we're looking at. Famously, you're a local. You know there can be snow in the Rocky Mountains in the spring, sometimes as late as June. There can be heavy snow. This doesn't look like it's going to bring heavy snow, but you're probably going to get a little fresh snow in the next few hours.
Okay.
By the way, I'm rolling. For those who don't
yeah.
know, when we have actions, we make changes. The mechanics demand I roll a simple roll for odd. There's a complication. Even, we leave things be. There's been a handful of complications. Snow is one of them, right? So, weather, I should say.
Yeah. This definitely complication.
Right.
Well, how about a song? I say is they're collecting the kindling, and as Ronnie is, and she's setting out the thing, and I'm looking around, reconnoitering. It is noon, but I see this snow start drifting in, and look about now. I look up the mountain to the shaft.
Mm-hmm.
How far do I go?
No, I mean, you from here, all you can see is trees. You can see where the old train tracks lead, but it's covered in snow. You're looking up. I wish I had some photographs for you here, but you're looking up at a mountainside that's white with trees. Yeah. And you've probably still got. And again, you're aware of roughly where but there are mines dotted all over the Rocky Mountains. This particular mine, of course, you're aware, belongs to the Cutters of Georgetown, and so you're going to have to barter. You're going to have to, right? You'll see evidence of them before you see the mine itself. So you know this. However, that doesn't mean you can't find mine tailings of other mines, or that you might find something that's, obviously between you and Sarah, you might spot something. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm doing. I get on the back of the truck to look around as I'm fumbling with the gear.
Yeah, she says song, and she shakes her head. what fool company would send us out here in this to find to find remnants of silver? I mean, it's the snow's 9 inches deep.
Yeah, it's and it doesn't look like I say stretching my neck around that it's going to get any less deep. And I kind of look at her and smile and wink. And I hum a song. I think if we're not, I look around for in that moment for any kind of little entrance pathway or clear roadway.
Just all you can see again, and in this situation, folks, I'm rolling for him as opposed to asking him to make a roll. Just for those who might watch, he had he had the best chance. Unfortunately, I rolled a 2, so that's a failure. So no, all you really are looking at is white snow, trees, and the normal railroad track that your vehicle's now sitting on, right? Stalled.
Okay.
I mean, from here, obviously, you're free to parade around and search for trails. But from where you're standing and working on the truck, unloading the truck, yeah, you're not seeing anything.
But I can roll from there because, but I jump off the back of the truck. As I jump down as a rubbernecked, looking for anything, didn't turn up anything, and I walk over there and I say, "Keep your heart up, Miss Sarah. We'll get there." Mm-hmm. But maybe not today. I don't see reckoning toward any place that I can.
Ronnie says, "What's that? What's that song you're humming, boss?" As he sets down the final container of camp gear, rations, and pops the top off of it, and reaches in, grabs out a hardtack, and bites off some of it, and starts gnawing on it. What you humming? And he's chewing on this. It's an old gospel tune. Everybody inserted it. It's Amazing Grace. And Amazing Grace.
I sing a couple of bars or whatever, and fills you up inside, don't it, Ronnie? And I'll grab it, punch him in the shoulder.
No, again. Ronnie frowns, chewing on this, and says, "Yeah, I'm gonna go visit the local tree stump." And he turns and steps in 9 inches of snow, trotting off. Back into privacy, as you're well aware that he's probably needs to use the restroom. She stands up and says, "Yeah, I've heard of that, but it was sung much better where I've heard
it." Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you sound. It's where it's coming from, and this comes from a good place. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of look at her and smile and look, Miss Sarah. Mm-hmm. If you could tend to camp here, mm-hmm. I'm gonna walk around a bit. You obviously know that the truck's down right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so, she's completely aware, professional. She knows exactly what the situation is.
Yeah.
Okay, and she says it's noon. He's obviously helping himself to lunch, and she reaches into the same canister and hands you hardtack. And says, "This is what all you're getting for lunch. Then, if you're not going to be here, I'm not going to cook. If you're not going to be here." And she shuts the canister and pulls the clamp shut on it so it's safe and secured. But she's handed you like a hardtack bar.
Don't be so quick. Don't be so quick, Miss Sarah. I see. Her get a little frustrated there. I'm just gonna walk around and see if there's a place that we can, this better suited.
Okay. Now, tell me, are you going from your mining, from your talents as a miner and a local? Where are you headed?
Well, yeah, no, I'm gonna look around for any avenue of to get a better place. I'm gonna scout around, but I don't want to do this meta. I'm just doing it like So I turn right now in game. I'm just looking at her, going like, just stay here, mm-hmm. make camp. We don't know if we're going to be here, or how long we're going to be here. Mm-hmm. We got to keep up a good composure, mm-hmm. And good morale. These Rocky Mountains can be pretty harsh at times, So yeah,
Yeah, she pulls her
if you
jacket up
try,
tight and zips the zipper to the top of her chin as you say that.
yeah. So we definitely need at minimum a tent here uh, behind the in the place we set it. But as far as this weather, and I look around, I don't know when it's going to break.
Hmm.
So we might have to evacuate and get down the road. But I don't want to be frankly walking back into Lobo's arms
Hmm.
right now. So if I can find a little cave here, then we'll be good.
Hmm.
All right.
Hmm.
All right, do that. He'll be back in a second. Let him know where I've been. But I'm gonna follow a couple of leads here. Okay.
Hmm.
So I'm going to look, and then I'll break off from her. I kind of soured my mood a little bit with her thing, but still, I turn on my heel and walk around.
Okay.
Walk a little bit more up the hill.
Okay.
I'm looking for any tracks, as it were, as animal tracks, as I'm going up to where, obviously, where off the railroad tracks until I can get some kind of a break in the tree line.
Yeah,
See if it works.
you traverse quite a ways. You get up along the north, I should say northwest, as you climb more into the mountains. You do find a set of tracks. However, it's starting as the snow's starting to fill them in. Hard to say now, as the snow's been falling steadily for the last half hour or so. Hard to say exactly how old they are, but you do come across tracks. They appear to be bare, as they are. They at times you can count 3 to 4 paws. Other times it appears there's double steps, which look like bipedal, right? And that tells you immediately these are bear tracks. Hard to say how fresh.
Yeah, I
However,
know we're in the territory, so I'm gonna start back and
right.
I'm gonna turn.
And it is springtime, so any bear out is dangerous as they've been hibernating. They're going to be starving.
Yeah, I know. We're in a territory right now, so I'm turning on. I know. I've reconnoitered my surroundings, so I'm turning around and back tracing my steps
Okay.
to get back to the camp.
Yeah. And by the time you do, everything, the Jeep, the tent is up. The Jeep is covered in a slight layer of snow. The tent's got a little dusting of snow on it as they appear to you've got the tent up and secured. You find Ronnie doing what he normally is doing. He is cleaning his pistol. He's got his bullets lined up there along on one of the canisters. He's got a hat or something that he's got propped up there so they don't get snow on him as he's working, cleaning out his weapon. You find her sitting with her geological survey tools out, and she's going through them. It's like she's making sure she's got all of her gear. And she looks up and she says, at some point we have to find tailings, and I can investigate to find out how much silver or some kind of ore, something, so we'd have an idea. But as she looks, and then she kind of glances around, her mood is improved. It's like making camp without any interruptions. She appears to be a little more relaxed now, and now that she's focused on her job, she seems to be more alert. And she snatches up her, her pickaxe and walks up to you, and she goes, "I just don't. We're going to have to find actual mine. This snow is going to cover all tailings. We're not going to find anything covered with snow cover."
I wish I could say that my search was fruitful, but the only thing I discovered cave-wise is probably a bear cave.
What?
Not the cave in particular, but the bear. We're in his territory.
Oh, she backs away and pulls the pickaxe up tight to her chest. What? And she starts kind of looking around and spinning. She looks around. You're telling me there's a bear out here?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Okay, and Ronnie stands up. His coat, which he's had kind of sitting over his shoulder, slides off into the snow, and he starts putting his bullets in his gun and shuts it and looks around and goes, "You've seen the bear?" And you hear his voice echo. Although it's dampened by the snow and the clouds, you still know that the voice travels out here in the wilderness easily, right?
I haven't seen the bear. I echoed. I haven't seen the bear directly, but I saw evidence of the tracks. Um, so I know that we're near in his territory,
Right.
and it could be out. It could be out hunting, but we need to have something at the ready. Fire is a good way to keep it at bay.
Okay.
So we need to get sticks and fire and pitch a tent here.
Yeah. So the tent's up, the
I
gear's there, but Ronnie immediately starts kicking away space and starts building a little fire pit, digging a little hole, adding rocks around the edges, and he starts filling it with kindling. He has holstered his weapon. He starts going to work on this fire that you've mentioned. She goes over and looks at her gear, the shovel, the pickaxe, as if she's debating what would be best to defend herself against a bear. She decides for the pickaxe. As she pulls it up close, you realize she's decided that's her weapon of choice. As she stands there now, white-knuckling this pickaxe and looking around the area. She's clearly now heightened alert for this bear.
Okay, yeah, just stay alert, but relax a little bit, Miss Sarah. You're gonna burn through your energy.
Yeah,
Right?
she glances hard at you. That's easy for you to say. You've got a ball gun, you bastard. And she waves this pickaxe in front of you and says, "This is all I've got against what, a 400-pound bear."
Yeah, if it comes down to it, but keep your eyes open because it should stand out from this snow. It's now layering everything. All right.
Yep.
So if you see it coming, let him know, and then I grab the shovel. I'm gonna help Ronnie dig this fire pit, and
you hear, and it's difficult with the snow, the dampening, the forest. You hear a bird call. You can't quite tell what direction it comes from, but it's a soft kind of bird call.
Okay, I twitch my head this way because of, am I hearing something?
Mm-hmm. And
other than the snow falling out the trees every once in a while and hitting the ground and the crunching of the thing, has been pretty quiet on the mountain. And I'll stop shoveling and just look up and Ronnie, I'll put my hand on his shoulder.
Right, and Ronnie, meanwhile, is literally sparking a tinder, getting a fire going. He stops and listens. Sarah stands up and she keeps like 3 steps towards you, crunch, 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 with her pickaxe close as what? What is it? And then she hears it, Ronnie hears it, and you hear it. Another soft, what sounds like a bird call, but you can't quite coordinate where it's coming from.
Okay.
Right, echoing through the and it's about 1 in the afternoon now. Right, still heavy cloud cover. Snow is still drifting down. Still got a little snowfall.
Okay, so I'll put my hand on her shoulder. Just I take the shovel and walk over to the truck.
Okay.
At first, I'll say, "Hello," kind of scream it out.
Yeah.
Is anyone out there?
And
I'm telling them to get down a little low.
I mean, again, and you hear how the snow. It's like being in a sound. If you've ever been in this situation, the snow sucks that acoustic. So your yell, you would like that yell to be reverberate and be louder, but you can hear how the environment kind of vacuums out.
Dampens it.
You know your voice will travel, but it's not as loud as you would like. Effectively, I'm sure once it comes out of your mouth, you're like, "Holy shit!" So you don't hear anything in response, but if within 15, 20 seconds, you do hear what sounds like yelling in the distance. And a roar, a soft roar in the distance, up the mountain, not far from where you crossed the bear tracks.
You said yelling in the distance.
You hear yelling and a roar, like an animal roar, again, and it's not far from where you crossed those bear tracks, in that direction you had gone earlier, where you discovered the bear tracks, and you can hear yelling and echoing through the mountains of some yelling, humans, sounds like humans yelling, and you can hear roars.
Miss Sarah, get in the truck.
Yeah, she's white
Ronnie,
faced. She just stands listening to what sounds like
Ronnie,
uh
come with me. And I
mhm.
turn around and look at Miss Sarah. Stay here, stay tight. Look, at least we know where the bear is.
Mhm.
But I believe he's on someone. They may need her help. And then I'm reluctantly trying to let go of her hand, and I'll turn around and start running in that direction and beckon Ronnie to follow me.
Okay. She piles past you, slams into the vehicle. You hear her slam the doors, and she's huddled down again. She reaches up and locks all the doors, as if that's going to stop the bear from getting into the
Yeah.
truck, right? And again, it's hard going, this 9 inches of snow with probably another half inch of fresh snow. You're stomping through the wilderness. Even your old tracks are covered in now from the new snowfall. And you make your way through the trees, and you hear the ebb of the yells and the quieting of the roars. And as you start to approach, again, all of this uphill, as you start to approach an area of rocks that tower into the sky, into the clouds, you get close to this area. You begin to realize there's no sound much, and as you creep up and kneel down, you see a group of about 5 people huddled around a dead bear, and they've got spears sticking out of it. They are all standing over it, and the gentleman that's clothed in like a wolf's fur is down, squatted
Pushing
over the
Ronnie
bear.
down,
Yeah, and he
pushing Ronnie down.
falls down into the snow. Again, now you guys are like waist. When you squat down, of course, you're covered in snow, right? Your knees are in the snow, your waist is in the snow, but you're watching as this Lobo character opens up the bear and hoists the heart out and shows it to his 4 hunters, right? And they all cheer, and then he begins to softly howl, and then eventually very loud howl. They all join in as they're howling with him as they have completed this bear hunt. And you see now this bear who clearly emaciated, and underweight, but they are now setting to harvest the bear.
Okay, I'll keep a grip on white knuckling. Warming my hands up every once in a while underneath my arms, and warming my hands up underneath my arms, and then refocusing on it. And in a minute, I'll look at Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie, backtrack. Give it Miss Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're seeing Ronnie's quivering a little bit. You can hear his teeth, he's having trouble not. Oh, you all right? He's having trouble not chattering his teeth. You can see his hands. He has left camp without gloves. His hands are bright red and pink. He's cold, and he nods, kind of clattering his teeth, and he starts to back toward camp. His gun is in its holster as his hands. He's obviously trying to warm his hands up, and he starts heading down in the snow.
Okay. What I was gonna tell him when he's turning around to leave is, look, if I'm not, I'm gonna stay here till they leave. I'll make sure that they leave away from us. This isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of Miss Sarah, okay? If I'm not back, lay low and try to get her back to Georgetown. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's already turned on his heel and then started back down the hill.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, he's hearing this as he stands up and wrings his hands and nodding. He doesn't say anything, and then he takes one more look down, or I should say, more kind of across or up at them harvesting this bear, and then he turns and starts bouncing down the hill as he's trying to run in this 10 inches of snow. Right.
Yeah, he's bounding down it. Okay, and I linger on his, descending form, and then I turn around and
And
look
as
back
you
up the hill
do,
and
you
settle
see
down.
Lobo. They're all stopped, and they're looking in your general direction, and you realize that you can hear him as he bounds down the hill, crunch, 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 as he's running through the snow. And Lobo does a soft whistle, and two of his warriors start heading in the direction of this crunching. And you can see, again, that they can hear him running down the hill. So they look like they're coming right at you, but they don't clearly see you, but they're headed your direction, these two warriors.
Okay. I curse Ronnie's heavy footfall. I curse his heavy footfalls. Turn around and put my back to the rock that I was at, and slide down into the snow.
Okay. You hear their feet getting closer as they're running and crunching through the snow. You can hear Ronnie now crunch as it gets quieter as he's crunching way down the hill. And as they come up on your area, one of them goes right by, crunch, 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 crunch. But you notice the second one has stopped. You don't see him, but you don't hear his crunching feet.
Yeah, and when I was sliding in, I was putting the ball into the, or already had it in there.
Right.
But I got when he goes past me,
and you watch him as he's bounding down the hill, literally right in the foot tracks of Ronnie now. But the other one that was with him has stopped. You don't hear, he hasn't come past you.
Yeah. I'm going to stay still. The one that just passed me.
Yep.
I'm gonna put a ball in him.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So as you level, and again, it's a short range weapon. You know that it is a very, very deadly. As you level the weapon, somebody grabs that barrel, and it's the other warrior. He's clearly came to a halt around your rock because he had seen your tracks, and now as you level that weapon, he grabs the barrel and kind of pushes it into the air, right? So you're now in this kind of a melee with this other hunter, right? And he's rotten teeth. I mean, you're close on him, right? As he whips this up, you can see now the condition: raggedy beard, unwashed, rotten teeth.
Yeah,
he is scarred, has quite a few scars. He's ironically somewhat gray, so he's an older gentleman.
When he comes up in the air, I'm gonna twist that butt of the rifle across his face.
Okay.
And try to knock him down if he loses footing. Hopefully, I don't lose mine.
Yeah. So catching him off guard with a quick reaction, you clock him pretty hard in the head. He goes down in the snow, letting go of the weapon, and collapses on his back. Snow kind of piles in on him. He's not moving.
Okay, I'm looking around. Turned on my knee. I'm looking around for any kind of weapon that he has.
He's got
I only saw him earlier.
He's got some kind of a knife on his hip as you grab for that. He's got a spear that was planted in the snow behind him. It's as if he knew he was going to try to just wrestle you. But there is a spear there, and as you look to see the spear there, you can now see Lobo has seen you step out of the. He's seen the skirmish by the rock, and now Lobo is standing, and all of the other three warriors, Lobo with the other two, are now watching your skirmish, right? Or had seen your skirmish, right?
Yeah, all I did was clock him, lean down, kind of pick, and then my head immediately swivels around to the guy descending down the mountain, chasing
right.
Ronnie.
Right.
And that's when I take off after him. I'm not waiting. I know our cover's blown, right?
Okay.
But I do take the spear and the knife.
So you turn and you begin to run down the mountain. You don't know what Lobo and the other two hunters are doing behind you as you make chase on this
Yes.
this other hunter.
I already suspect that
Mm-hmm.
that we're screwed.
Yeah.
So I grab the knife. I'll leave I'll chuck the spear off to the side. Um, and then and then
Okay,
run
as
down
you come
run down
bounding down the hill, bouncing through the snow, you come up short about 12 yards from the hunter who's got Ronnie pinned in the snow. You can't see Ronnie, but there's a fight between him and
Yeah.
Ronnie in the snow. He's caught Ronnie.
All right. I come up, basically barreling into him with a knife.
Okay.
I got my ball gun slung around the thing, and then I'll kind of cartwheel over him, try to grab him, and then use my momentum to let roll off of him while I got my knife to his throat.
Okay.
That downward momentum. That's what I just want to, clobber
Yep.
into him and roll.
Yeah,
off
you
of him.
feel air knock out of him as you clobber him and roll through the snow, and you come up with again. He is not dead, but he is clearly had the wind knocked out of him, and he is aware that he has got a knife to his throat. Ronnie sets up in the snow as you kind of catch out of the corner of your eye. He sets up, and Ronnie kind of turns to look in your direction. You can see he's bloodied up. He's been battered pretty bad, and you can see he's got a knife sticking out of his shoulder. And then Ronnie kind of passes out back into the snow.
I'll be like, Ronnie, get, and then I'll see him pass out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take the butt end of the knife
Mm-hmm.
and clock the hunter side of the head.
Yep. You feel him go. You feel him go limp.
Out.
Yeah, you feel him go limp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's clearly unconscious. You've clocked him in the temple, or and he doesn't appear to have a weapon on him as it's stuck in Ronnie. His knife is stuck in Ronnie.
I go over to Ronnie and I remove the knife.
Yeah.
And I start dragging Ronnie back toward behind the body of the hunter.
Okay.
And I'm gonna drop in and I'm getting Ronnie's gun.
Yeah.
As well. It's shaking. My hands are shaking. I'm just trying to get out his weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at him every once in a while. Ronnie, get up. And then I'm just my eyes are just scanning up the hill.
Yeah, Ronnie splutters awake, and you can see his eyes try to focus on you. Boss, what's going on? And then he starts scrambling for his weapon. My gun! He starts to panic.
Look, stop! It's right here. Look.
And he reaches up for it. Yeah, he reaches up.
The slide.
Right.
They're going to be coming down the hill now. Get ready. Get your gun ready.
Right.
I'll put it in his hands.
Yeah. You see him now. Sorry, you're locked up.
Whatever. Are you with me? I'm looking at him in his face.
Yeah, he's clearly in pain. He's bleeding. You see he takes the gun, but he's left-handed. And now you see he has to put the gun in his right hand as his left shoulder is wounded. Shaking, it's blurred. And you can see now he's had his lip torn through punching or something. You can see where he's had scratch marks on his face. So this guy obviously was tearing into him with his fingernails. And now you sit there calmly for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, minute, and you realize that Lobo and the other two hunters don't appear to be following. As you sit there now for almost a minute and a half, they would have easily come upon you long ago.
Well, I know I'm just so tense in that expectation. You can see me shaking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well,
it seemed like from the cold, but actually it's from anticipation of death rearing his head. I'm looking. My eyes are going everywhere across there. I look at Ronnie and say, "Do you see anything?"
Yeah, Ronnie, you can tell in his condition, he ain't seeing much but the end of his gun. He's looking at the end of his sights. Ronnie is effectively hanging on, right? As far as not passing out, the pain, whatever it is, you can tell Ronnie isn't seeing much. Yeah.
Okay, Ronnie, keep this. I'll take that knife out. Well, I already took it out of his shoulder.
Yeah.
But I'll diving in the snow a little bit
Mhm.
and wipe it off.
Mhm.
Keep this on you. Keep this on you, Ronnie. We gotta back out of here.
Mhm.
Get back to the truck. And Miss Sarah.
Yeah, and it takes you
They,
it takes you half as long to get back to camp as it did to get up here because you were moving, but you're now. And as you approach camp, when she sees you in the condition Ronnie's in, she's out of the vehicle, rushing over to help Ronnie, and she takes Ronnie from you and brings him over to the camp, sets him down in front of the fire that he was able to get lit before you took pursuit.
Yeah, I'm half shouldering him over there, and then we'll dump him down right beside the fire.
She lays him by the fire, and she covers him in a sleeping bag.
My head's swiveling all over the place. Look, have you seen anyone?
No, she looks though very concerned. She looks at you and says, "What the hell happened?" No, I haven't seen anybody. What happened?
Thank God you're safe. We got set upon by the Indies that took down that bear. Then they came after us. We knocked out 2 of them, but as you can see, one of them got to Ronnie and tore into him. Pretty big. They didn't come down following us. There's at least 4 of them left. I'm kind of going off, talking real quick as my eyes are scanning all over the place. So you haven't seen anything?
No, nothing at all, thank God. And she begins to work on his... you're locked up. She begins to go to work.
You're good.
She begins to staunch the blood from his shoulder. She examines the wound and says, yeah, we're going to have to stitch this up. We've got to clean the wound. Ronnie begins to... he's passed out. You now can see, she can see Ronnie is at this point in shock. He's passed out. She looks at his face and says, what the hell happened to him? And then, of course, these are all rhetorical questions. And then she fishes out his weapon and she takes his pistol and she stuffs it in her pants. He won't be needing this right now. She stuffs his pistol in her pants. And she begins to doctor his wound.
Yeah, she's doing it. And I'm kind of stalking the area. I look at the fire every once in a while, considering dousing it with my foot on the snow to push it over, and I stop and look at them. It is getting later, and I know the snow's still falling. Right?
No, it's ebbed a little, but it's now, of course, about 2-3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, there's no break.
It's gonna be dark here in the mountains, and about as that sun sets behind the mountains in the west, it's gonna be. It's gonna be dark at about 4:30. Right? Huh?
Yeah, there's not much break in the cloud.
No, not a lot. Not enough yet to power those solar panels and to re-energize that battery. Right?
Yeah. So it looks like it's going to be a long night. Look at the tent, and then we need to get Ronnie in that tent. So I'll grab his arms and start pulling him into the to the tent to lay him out.
Yeah, and you watch him as you do. He's discolored. He's pale. He's he is moaning. He's clearly soaking wet with sweat. Feverish. Now you may have also the problem that he got sweaty in the cold, which could be a problem as far as hypothermia if you're not careful. But you get him into the tent and secured him. But it's clear Ronnie is out of it, as he is succumbing to his wounds, and he is clearly in a battle, another battle that you really can't help him with outside of tending him if he's, Yeah,
right. She said to him, just stay in the tent with him. I'm like, we need as much warmth as possible. He needs to get dried out. So I'll leave that tent flap open for the heat, to kind of catch in there, if any, with her. And she can tell I'm distracted as I'm half paying attention to what she does, as I'm looking around all over the place. Now,
so it's been a few hours. It's dark now. It's been quiet for the last few hours. You haven't heard anything around the camp. However, at about 6 o'clock, well into the dark, she has tended him. She comes to you at some point during this period and tells you that he's sleeping, but he is clearly suffering his wounds, maybe a little shock. However, and he might even have a slight fever. She can't. I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but he's resting peacefully right now. And she begins to actually make some food. She keeps that pistol in her belt close. But at about 6 o'clock, you hear again howling, but it's a single lone howl, and it is definitely not a wolf. It is the tenor of it is not a legitimate wolf. It is a simulated howl, and it's hard to say how far. All right.
Yeah, stiffen immediately, and this whole thing I've been anticipating all day is kind of weakened my. The advice I gave her, I didn't take, as I've been so tense that I'm almost on the brink of exhaustion. You know what I mean?
Yep.
As I'm staying there, and I catch my breath as I do that, and I instinctively kind of push her down to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
That's them. I think they found.
Yeah, she draws this pistol and says, "What the hell?" And she's looking about anxiously, waving that pistol in every direction.
They probably brought more for all I know.
Mm-hmm.
This is. I look at her and stop what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because my hysteria don't need to reach to that level. I catch myself and then, how's Ronnie doing? And my eyes are still flittering all over the place.
She glances quickly over at the tent flap that's open, and he's not moving. I think he's still sleeping. And she looks back around, breathing heavy. You can see now the temperature's dropped enough that both of you, your breath is obvious in the night air. You can see your breath every time you breathe or talk. It's gotten that much colder, right, as the sun is set. Again, you don't hear another howl or responsive howls. You just heard the one lone howl. Go ahead. You were going to say?
How good are you with that thing? I look down at the pistol.
Mm-hmm.
She's got her hands.
Mm-hmm. She looks and says, "Point and shoot, right?"
Yeah, point and shoot.
Yeah, the how she's holding it and waving it around, she doesn't know clearly how dangerous, it is. But it is a revolver, which is going to require. It's not easy to pop off accidentally, right? It's a revolver.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool. And I just kind of look at her and smile and put my hand on her hand holding the gun and point and shoot.
Yeah.
Just stay tight by me. I'm going to. I'll be on the watch. You look like you need some.
Oh wow.
You need some rest. So go back in the tent and stay with Ronnie a little bit. Make sure it stays warm in there. You need all the warmth.
Yep.
I say this is you can tell
right.
visibly I've got, kind of frostbite sitting in my fingers. They're a little bit stiff. And I'm constantly flexing them back and forth.
Okay.
And I walk over to the fire too to try to warm that. Almost like a mental reprieve for a second, escape from the dangers. Did she go into tent flap?
Yeah, she did. She's doing what you say. And as the night wears on, you don't hear any more howls, etc. But I had a formidable roll for you after a long day, and under this stress, I rolled a 2, which means you failed. You actually fall asleep. And you startle yourself awake sometime early in the morning. You realize you've fallen asleep.
Immediately. Yeah. The snow is drifted on me.
And you can, a little bit, yeah, and you can see that the fire is out and smoldering, so you've been asleep for a while. You glance over to the tent, and Sarah's clearly not come out. You don't hear much going on there, but you are startled awake as you realize at some point you just flat, out of exhaustion, passed out.
My eyes are looking everywhere.
Yeah.
Like first go to the tent.
As you glance around, you see again the tent doesn't appear to be disturbed. You can't see in it so much, but no sign of her or of Ronnie, and not outside. I mean, they may be in the tent. And as you glance around, you see both of the dead hunters are probably 15 yards, about 30 feet from your heart of your camp. They have been propped up like in a scarecrow, blocking you from heading the direction of the bear kill. So these 2 dead hunters have been set up there, and you can see that they clearly got that close to camp, and at some point while you were passed out, set these 2 bodies up.
Yeah, well, I set bolt upright as like I said, I look over the camp.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the tent, doing a VSC, just checking myself a little bit.
Yep.
I'll pull up on my knee and look over, and that's when I see the hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I go right for my gun. That comes to mind too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull it out and level it, and walk over by the truck and use that to pivot around.
And as you get around the truck, you realize that they have slashed all 4 tires. The truck now has 4 flat tires. Right.
I look around and look down at the tires. Curse through my breath. Roll around the truck and slip down to the back to the tent,
mm-hmm.
and kind of tip my hand and hit the flaps.
Yeah, and as you peek in, you realize that she's not there, but you hear her scream within just a few feet of you, and you spin around, you see that she's standing now looking at the 2 dead hunters, as she's clearly climbed out of the tent while you were going around the truck, and she's turns.
I take 2 lumbering like things and grab her,
right,
and turn her around.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, get down.
And she does. She drops and starts crawling for the tent, right? You see the pistol is laying there on the ground where she clearly, when she saw them, she... Oh, you've locked up. Hello?
I say, keep that pistol at the ready and keep quiet. You
Okay.
know, as I get back to the tent, I'm gonna go check it out, and then I'm gonna stalk over there in the snow.
To the... Where are you stalking?
To the dead hunters.
Yep.
While I'm doing that, I'm looking for where the tracks came down, where they set them up, and where they let off to. Right, so I can get a good view of that.
Yeah. So as you approach, you see clearly it is the gentleman that you killed, or actually that you knocked unconscious.
No gentleman.
They must have killed him, right? Because you had knocked him unconscious. So they obviously killed him. And then the other hunter that you killed are either way, the two hunters that you had left incapacitated are hung here dead, and by hung they've literally been stood up with their arms stretched out, and they've been planted on a couple of spears, probably two of the other hunters.
Like very lean-to.
Yeah,
spears hold
exactly, and you recognize them both as the 2 you tangled with. You see tracks, but there are so many tracks around here that either one or two people. I mean, they obviously hurriedly worked and erected these. There's a lot of tracks. You notice there's tracks that go over to the truck where they clearly slashed tires. You notice the tracks, though, don't get close to camp. I mean, they stayed on this perimeter and worked their way around to the truck, dealt with the truck. They didn't seem to come into camp. You've got all your gear, most of your stuff. It doesn't appear to be affected. And these 2 are put up, literally blocking the direction in which you had followed, where, both times that you had headed up and found the bear tracks, the second time that you went up and saw them get the kill. They're blocking. They're set there like they're warning you not to go northwest, right?
Okay, I'm gonna look at the 2 hunters there, because I'd seen them before. Where were the kill marks? Slash throat.
In the heart, as if they were, as if the knives had been driven into that rib up into the heart. They had both been executed with a knife stroke. May have been told to do it themselves. They may have sacrificed themselves. Who knows what? Yeah.
Who knows? I'm gonna with a sigh and look around. I'm gonna retreat. back to the camp, cautiously still looking around. But it seems like the men's have been here for a little while, right?
Very hard to say. Who knows?
I know that the
Who
blood would
knows?
have been the blood trail, basically.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The blood trail of the hunters, basically, as they, as they drop it down. So I'll look up at the white snow as that blood lays in contrast as I'm backing away.
Right.
And as long as that, they got to the truck, they stayed away from the camp. This is something that I didn't know about the Indies. But obviously, some modicum of respect was given to us, and some disgrace to their own. As they go back to camp, I'll lean in and then go to the tent. Looking around, open up the flap, Miss Sarah. It seems that
She looks up at
we're
you.
going to be all right.
She looks up at you. Clearly, she's been crying. She's got the pistol laying in her lap, and Ronnie is moaning and not awake, but he's clearly more active now. And she looks at you as you speak to her.
Okay. It seems that the two men that came after us, I only incapacitated them, but they've been executed by their own. And
she gasps. What kind of people are they? And she sobs a little bit.
Savages, man. Savages is all I can say. But they've propped up their dead to be a warning to us not to go up the mountain or to the kill that they made. So I'm going to respect as much. But as soon as this breaks and we can get some sunlight, we're the hell out of here.
She agrees. She looks at Ronnie and says, "I think he's going to be okay. He's clearly, suffered."
Yeah.
If
okay,
at some point she comes out of the tent and she says, "Are we?" She doesn't know about the vehicle yet, and she starts talking about loading the vehicle and getting ready to go.
Well, man, that's why we had to stop here. The vehicle's powered down, and there isn't the blasted sun coming through. This damn long winter's killing us. But now, about what time of the evening is this? I reckon orders.
Oh no, it's been it's been a few hours since you woke up. It's now sun up.
Okay.
It's about 6:30 in the morning or so now. When she's asking about packing the truck, I mean, how are we going to get out of here? Right.
We need Ronnie to help out with this. Is there? How's he doing through the night?
So let's take a look here. Yes, she tells you. Yes, he's in the last hour or so. He's awakened and he's talked. He's feeling better. I'm going to feed him some breakfast, and we have doctored his wound. I think he'll be able to do some help with us, but he should be okay. So she assures you that he'll be up and around here after he gets some food, nourishment.
We've made it through the worst of it, I think, and I don't think that we'll have any problem with Lobo and his men for right now. In fact, we probably gained a little reprieve and respect from him.
Yeah, and she looks at you and says, "Well, can't you at least?" She peers over your shoulder. "Can't you at least remove those dead men, please?"
I don't want to tempt fate, man.
So you are savage as well? And she turns and storms off toward the tent,
I'll grab her arm before she can, and then I'll pull her back to me, kind of. No, ma'am, I am not. But I'm not. I don't know these savages' ways like that. They surprised me when they took out their own. They're the one who set them up. They left us be. If I desecrate that or change anything, then I don't know what the repercussions would be. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it be, and we're not going to take any chances.
Fine. Then the sooner we can, we should pack up and get out of here. I don't want to live within a decaying.
You act like I want the same, and then I'll clamp down a little bit.
All right.
Look, as soon as Ronnie's up, as soon as we can get a cloud break here, and we can recharge our batteries, we'll get on our way. Until then, you just avert your eyes if it bothers you that much.
Right.
And then I'll kind of push her arm away, let it go.
Okay. She grabs up some breakfast and attends Ronnie. Again, in the next hour or so, Ronnie's out of his tent. You see he's got his left arm in a sling. He's got his pistol now in his pants, so he can use his right hand with his pistol. He approaches and says, "Thanks for saving my life yesterday, boss. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to help you later, but thanks." And then he sees the two dead hunters and kind of balks, takes 2 steps back.
I'm not your boss, Ronnie. And then he balks like that. Look, calm down. Look.
Right.
You know, there's the hunters when they chase it down. Those are the 2 we took out.
And you planted them there? What the hell are you doing?
I didn't kill them. Look, I didn't kill them.
Oh.
Be truthful. On watch. Sometime they came and planted them there. And look.
Right.
She obviously hadn't seen this, but look over the tires. And there's like 4 flat tires.
Oh, and Ronnie goes, "What?" And you see him now visibly second to his pistol. This is his job, driver of the solar truck.
Yes.
And he kind of takes 4 steps toward it. It stops, hangs his head, and it turns to you. You now see he can't. How are we going to get the hell out of here? We're standing in inches of snow, and we've come a long way.
That's what I want to know. But I know Sarah over there. If she gets, if she knows this, it's going to be more than that I can contend with. She's been a handful right now. We've got enough to contend with, and I'll kick the flat tire.
Okay.
We might have to take out on foot. You got a damn radio in this thing somewhere?
Well, he said we have the walkie, and he opens up the passenger door and he bangs around in the back area, and he pulls out the walkie and he looks at you and hands it over to you.
Okay, I'll turn it on. Wait for Squawk.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone out there?
Yeah, you get a squawk. You hear a squawk back. It breaks up heavily, but you do hear as if somebody's at least picked up your signal, and it's broken, staticky response.
Okay.
But
is
no.
Out there? This is Toby Long. Toby Long. We're trapped on the side of this mountain with a disabled vehicle.
Okay. Again, you hear a squawk back. Cannot make out the response. And this.
We need help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look. I'll set it down with a curse on the seat. Until now, I was afraid of this, but have you got a flare in there?
Yeah. I mean, he fishes. He goes around to the back of the truck and opens up the toolbox and fishes out the flare gun. Again, he looks at it and then looks at you and just hands it to you. He doesn't know what you want to do with it.
Okay. I'll put the cartridge in and then hold it up and immediately fire it off.
Okay. It launches high in the sky through the clouds. There is some cloud breakup this morning. There could conceivably be blue skies today, but hard to say. But it explodes into the morning sky, and you watch it burn and fall and eventually dissipate And Ronnie watches it with you, and then he says, well, now what? We wait for help?
Maybe it'll signal someone. I don't know. But get the walkie with us. Get the flare. She wanted to pack up. I don't know how she's going to be about leaving any of her gear here, but we got to get out of this situation.
Okay.
We can't go any further. Where's Georgetown, you reckon? And I'm turning toward it. I'm saying this even though I know that he's
Well, you know,
probably not going to know.
you've been around the area, so you know where Georgetown is. Again, you can follow these railroad tracks that you were on down a couple of, it's going to be, in the vehicle, it was just like a full day's drive. So a hike down the mountain is going to take you a day and a half, 2 days. But you know it leads right down to Georgetown's village. So, yeah,
That was kind of a
it's just
rhetorical
following,
question
right,
to him.
right.
I know you wouldn't, but,
Right.
I'm like, look, if we keep to the tracks, if we bundle up, I don't think that, the bear's obviously taken out. It's not going to mess with this. And hopefully the hunter's going to stay away from it. The Indian's going to stay away from it too. But if we can bundle up, maybe we'll get a break in this. But going down the mountain, back to Georgetown, at least we can recoup ourselves. So
She
bring
steps
all
up
of the necessities
to you
of
two
life
as you're having this whispered conversation, and she looks as a flare. Won't that tell everybody in the area that we're
everybody
here?
in the area, but I feel secure that the Indies are going to stay away from us. It maybe some help will come from Georgetown. Maybe meet us halfway, and I'll look at her and
Meet us halfway.
Yeah, take only what you can. Secure your equipment here in the truck. We'll lock it up, but we're going to have to. And I'll glance over. It seems we've been incapacitated, and there isn't going to be a break in the clouds, and we can't stay out here another night like this.
Okay.
Ronnie, you good to travel?
Yeah, Ronnie says, I'll carry what I can. My left arm's no good. But it takes you guys about 45 minutes to pack up what you want to carry, the essentials, and she secures. She approaches you with her gear, her main science gear, and she looks at you and says, I'm not leaving my science gear with this truck. So she's got a pretty hefty backpack with her, but she's not going to leave her science gear. She's got the pickaxe in her hands. Ronnie has his bare essentials with some water and some rations and his pistol, a heavy coat, and they both are staring at you.
Taking that,
right?
I anticipated it. If you're taking that crap, we're not trekking with it on our back. So I'm gonna make a little pull behind, with some of the tent.
Gotcha.
Fabric and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we can just pull it on the snow.
Okay.
And sled it.
Okay.
Just put it on here. Be easier to trek, and it's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that you hit the snow line. That first day out in the vehicle, there's going to be a point down the mountain that you're going to come off this snow line, but that'll be pretty close to Georgetown at that point.
Yeah, but we need to be able to jump away from it and not be too heavy to move if we need to.
Right.
While we're in this dangerous area, when I'm out of the snow line, maybe then it'll be safer to shoulder it. All right. We'll pile it on and let's get started. And okay. I'll kick the fire out.
Okay. Okay, so as she starts leading the way, she gets out like 15 feet ahead of you guys. She's in a hurry. She likes the idea of heading back to Georgetown, to whatever civilization.
I think about stopping her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Staying tight, and then I don't. I look. I'm blessed with a little bit of quiet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe she could work her energy out, but the danger is supposedly behind us. Mm-hmm. Ronnie. You go up there. I'll
except when I roll complications.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying in my mind, that's That's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad of the reprieve a little bit in the silence of the snow. It's like a blessing
Yeah.
as I hear the crunch. But Ronnie, get down there and watch. I'll watch the back here.
Okay, Ronnie nods, doesn't respond verbally, but he does a quick kind of skip, a little trot to catch her up. And you see them talking. You can't hear them. She's moved. She's gotten herself as far as 20 to 30 feet ahead of you guys as he catches up to her. You see him talking. And
take this with her, and maybe she can share the load. It might slow her ass down.
Okay.
So he's got the pull behind.
Right. And so he catches him up as you walk behind. The day, as you move down the mountains, so far without any issues, you start to see the clouds burn away, the sky get nice and hot and bright. Everybody in the group has now been able to kind of shed their coat down to the, take off the coats as you're starting to warm up. And it takes you, most of the day to hit the snow break. And you come out where the vehicle had been on the old railroad tracks. And from here, you see coming up the railroad tracks on an actual rail car, you see a group of Georgetown cutters. And they greet you with a wave, and two of them hop off and kind of run ahead of the trail car, catch up. And they stop short and say, "Was that your flare?"
It sure was, buddy.
And that's where we'll fade the black, right? We'll end that session right there.
They were you broke up. They were coming in a cart.
Well, they had a rail car with about 5 of them on it. 2 of them jumped off and ran up to you and greeted you as to say, "Was that your flare?" And that's where we'll end this session in an hour and a half. So let's talk a little bit about it. Again, for me, I've said it a long, long time ago. For me, in character as character play, I would gladly never roll dice as a character. For me to stay in character and be in character and enjoy role playing, I like very little reference to character sheets outside of what I need to know to play the character or be the character, and then I certainly could enjoy gaming without rolling a whole lot of dice as a player. I know a lot of people, of course, they like the game portion. How did it feel for you not rolling any dice?
Okay, first I know everybody has. Okay, this is the first time I've played. I've always desired, just as a natural state, to play and just be in character without rolling dice. I said that this is the first time I've actually did it.
Right.
And it is to my expectations that it is seamless. There was never a need for me to say, do I roll here?
Right.
Or do I need to do this? Or what are my chances?
Right.
I did not care.
No.
I was
because you're not trying to manipulate the game. You're just being a character. You're not trying to go, you know what? This is a chance for me to use my history score here, right? You're just going to use your history by talking about history, and that's going to prompt something.
It totally removed that aspect. Even though whenever I started out here, you told me the setup, and then I envisioned somebody who might be kind of local, but he's a bit of a minor and he's kind of a scout ahead to show you the way. So I'm doing that.
Right.
When old boy called me boss, I'm like, I'm not your boss. We're the same. We're having to deal with this egghead here that needs to get in here and take this down. So I love the fact that no matter what I did, the complications, and I'm expounding beyond just like rolling, because to me that was where I needed to be as far as a player.
Mm-hmm.
I made the argument before when I told you that some people might want to feel like they're rolling the dice. They are, through rolling the dice, affecting change themselves. But that was like, I had that small question in my head of whether I would miss that or want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, it just shifted to where I wasn't in my mind mechanically affecting change, but I was affecting change through my character's decisions and reactions to the situation. That in other words, it changed my perspective to being solely like, I am affecting change through my character's interaction with the world, other than can I affect change by rolling a dice.
Right. How did it feel to not know when you failed or succeeded? Because the chief thing about rolling dice as a player is you're either going to know you succeeded or you're going to know you failed. Generally, if it's a pass-fail system, I lost you. Hopefully you'll be back here.
Oh, I succeed. That's where you stopped. The chief thing about a player, is whether you know you succeed or you don't.
Right.
Or like we could even say.
Could you tell when you failed something?
Honestly, that's what I'm saying. Honestly, it takes that question of success or failure out of your mind.
Well, that's what you'd like to think. But did you feel you knew when you did you lock up? Did you feel you knew when you succeeded or when you failed?
I'm telling you, this is the Nirvana aspect of it.
Right.
It did not matter. I was simply responding and reacting with the world. Whenever crap started going downhill, I was just responding to it. My mind wasn't on, I wonder if I passed, or I wonder if he rolled this, and I succeeded. It was simply took my eyes off of the mechanics and put them on the situation. It was sublime. That's all we needed. That's all we needed to know. I was invested in the moment of what was happening. I didn't care if a die roll was behind. Like I said, when I'm driving this car, I don't need to see the engine working. It took that.
So you didn't feel
even the understanding.
So you didn't feel moments of frustration, like you didn't know whether your combat roll. I mean, obviously, the way I narrated it, you should have known you succeeded because you knocked him unconscious.
Yeah, but see, my mind wasn't on that. My mind was like, "Oh crap, this dude just went down." So I wasn't preoccupied with a mechanical thing, which is honestly a distraction to me ultimately. Even if it's a momentary inhibitor to what is occurring in the organic space. I just knew as a character when things were going up and down, but I didn't need. Why do we really need to put pause buttons?
I don't know, but you and I may be the only two people on the planet that would like to be role players as characters in character and not actually manipulate the game or feel like we have to have some impact on the game itself. I just want to be the character in the space.
Yes.
Now I do, as a human being, I want to kick the door in. So when I say I want to kick the door in, but I don't know if I'm going to succeed at kicking the door in, right? And I'll know that when the GM says you kick the door, but it fails to crash in, right? So okay, what do I do next, right?
Yeah, I would submit that I think people just don't know what they're missing. I think people, because of the way the game is always been gamified, that it's almost like you think you need it.
Well, I think because role-playing game is first to everyone game, and it is a game, whether you're rolling dice or not rolling dice, whether you are using cards, whether you are using terminology, whether it's a shared narrative space, whatever.
But ultimately, is it trying to get it to? Isn't all of that originally primarily trying to get to a role-playing experience? I'm saying that we sabotage our experience by always refocusing on the mechanics because everybody likes to know how things work. But I'm saying that distracts from the ultimate goal of like being in the moment. As I'm on the side of that mountain, trying to survive in the snow, trying to take care of people, trying to deal with like NPCs that maybe are kind of getting under my craw, and I can just be a regular person. I'm not a superhero.
Right.
I'm making bad choices. I'm doing this and that. I'm just having to continue.
Well, you're making choices. The response of your actions may or may not require a roll that I'm going to do. So for me, on my side, it was fantastic. Number one, we already had the setup. So all I need to do is roll for complications when you're narrating or when we're in a position or we're changing scenes or we're changing actions. And then, of course, I was making rolls when you would declare an action that clearly needed to be effectively done. In that sense, everything worked beautifully. So just so you know, I only wrote down the complications that I rolled. If there was not a complication, I just kept going. I don't write that down. I don't write down a failed complication. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 complication rolls in that hour and a half. Right? Now, again, I rolled more than that, but 13. So the first one was Lobo. So the very first roll I made of the game, when you said we're in the Jeep, we're driving up the tracks, the first failed roll, or not failed, the first complication I rolled, odd, it's a complication, even we just keep going, and I just move on. I just move through time and space along with you without complication. Well, I rolled, so I said, okay, what would that be? Well, we know the setting. I'd already introduced you to the cutters. I'd already introduced you to Lobo. You knew they could be in the area. So the first complication should be something based on the surroundings. Or
related and logical.
Right, and so it was Lobo, stalking you guys, backlit, in the tree line, right, paralleling you. But that doesn't mean Lobo's necessarily looking to kill you or hunt you, but boom, there is something there that you got to be aware of, and you guys saw that there was something there that was
that we've crossed paths.
Correct.
You don't know where they could lead.
Yes.
So, can I ask you
the second one?
Seamless. How seamless are rolling prompts? Like, easily you can look, even are odd, right? So, as far as a naive narrator, just going like, okay, there's complication, and then you just look at the situation that
I do,
and you go. Well,
so, for instance, the second complication I rolled, which came fairly quickly after that. However, narratively, it had been an hour and a half into your drive, but it was a pretty quick roll after clouds. Right? So then I described the clouds and I described, how did I describe that affecting? Ronnie says we only got a couple hours of battery life here without solar juice. And so that was just to remind you, to let you know that at some point you're going to lose, the vehicle's going to be dead in the water. The next roll, complication, I said, okay, what would come now with a cloud cover? Well, snow. So they didn't have to be violent. They didn't have to be major complications. It was snow. Now we got snow, which is going to complicate. I can continue to use, right, further later if I need to, right? Exactly. Then the complication was bear. When you said I'm going to go up the tracks, I'm going to go up the railroad tracks and look for stuff, you had mentioned looking for animals or whatever, and so I literally rolled while you were saying that, and I rolled. I said, well, when he mentions animals and I make a complication roll, okay, we got a bear coming out of hibernation, so I described that.
That dovetailed into me his character going like I was looking for some kind of habitation to get into.
Yep.
That's why I said, "Oh crap!"
Right.
I mean, you didn't have to say it, but like there's a bear cave somewhere around here.
Now I could have complicated it with anything, but the fact that you were mentioning animals, the fact that you have mentioned it into existence, a cave, animal tracks, well, then the natural complication would be, and that's a bear, right? You chose to back away from that and not engage, and so you backed away, which is the whole point, right? I mean, you're living in the space.
I could have considered like trying to find the bear cave after they had died, to wither it down. But I'm sitting here thinking there could be babies in there. Yeah. This is just logical assumptions that you can make as a character, a human being, that will feed into and be shared.
And because you're speaking about it, and you're speaking of, I can then contextually make sense of what would be a complication here. The next one was Indy's on the hunt. So the next complication that was when you heard the ruckus between the humans in the distance and the bear roaring, and they were on the hunt. So again, earlier in the morning, when you had seen the Lobo on the very first roll, Lobo and his hunters, they literally might have been out hunting the bear. They weren't hunting you. You just happened to be paralleling them, and they were out hunting for the bear. Well, so later when I rolled the complication, you're going to hear this ruckus in the woods. Now, whether you engage the ruckus in the woods or not, that's your purview. But as you did, you discovered that they had just had a hunt and taken out the bear.
Now, you're just to clarify, when you're talking about rolling complications, this is something that just naturally is inferred through the situation
through what you're doing. And I roll
I'm saying it's
as
not a
we
random
move through time and space. So I don't roll constantly, but I'll roll when you change the narrative place. Or when you say, hey, I'm going to go up those tracks and start looking for something. Okay, that's a normal time to roll to see if there's going to be a complication along here.
Yeah, I just want to point out that it's not, for anybody watching, that it's not a random seed. Like when
no, there is no written. So this is what I prepared. That's literally what I prepared for the morning. And all this tells us is our setting. It's 2071. It's springtime in the Rockies. You work for the Prime Earth company. You have a driver. You have a geologist. You have a solar truck, you have a weapon, and you're scouting for mines because they need silver. You're looking for some so you can maybe find some silver. And then the location, you'd be west of a place called Georgetown that's run by the Cutters. They have a chief that calls himself George, whatever. And then there's the Lobos. That's literally all I prepared. 30 minutes before I wrote you and said, hey man, I'll be on Discord, right? And then the rest of it, quite literally, I would roll, and I wrote down what I rolled, and I wrote down the complication. So it says number 1, Lobo. Number 3, clouds. I rolled number 3 again, I think. Number 5, number 5, clouds. Number 5, snow. You can literally see this was my notes as I tracked the game. Clouds, bear, Lobo on the hunt. Right. So then I had what is it? So when you sent him running down the hill, I had made a complication roll, and I said, the complication is he takes off running down the hill, bounding through 9 inches, 10 inches of fresh snow, and they can hear him. So I just described how they all stopped harvesting the bear, stood up and said, holy shit, there's people over there, go get them. And so he sent hunters. It's just all completely natural. Then when you said, I'm going to duck down and wait, okay, I'm going to make a complication roll. The complication roll is that by the way, it was complicated. The other hunter stops at the rock, realizing there might be somebody hiding behind this rock. There may be more than one person taking off. And so he ends up grabbing your gun. Right. That was the complication. The other hunter didn't just run by, right? Which would have cued you that he's standing around here behind the rock or something, right? But you chose to level your gun at the guy running, right?
What was beautiful was when I told Ronnie, I said, get down the hill and keep a low profile, and then he starts running off and clumping through there, and I was like, son of a...
Yep. And then I rolled a complication when he got back after your battle. By the way, your rolls, when you said you wanted to knock him in the head or whatever, you declared kind of what you wanted to achieve. I'm going to knock this guy in the head. You didn't have to. You could have said, I'm going to try to knock him unconscious. That would have been more clear. But I knew, and both of those I rolled 6s, which would be the apex, would be the top, right? And so you knocked him. Because, again, our mechanism is you must roll 3 or better, or 4 or better. Bang, bang, you knock him.
Well, when I say hit him with the butt of the rifle...
clearly you want to end the... Right, the combat's over, he's unconscious, right? You haven't killed him, you've rendered him incapacitated. Very simple.
Exactly.
Right.
In fact, that was what I wanted. I didn't want to kill them.
Right.
Just put them...
Right, and that was a complication. So I had a complication later that you hear the howl of Lobo at 6 in the evening when it was dark. She went to the tent, you tried to stay up, then you had a failed roll. So I had another complication roll. I decided that would be whether you're exhausted or whether you fall. So then I made a roll to see if you could stay up. So I had a complication. I said, what would be a good complication in this situation? Oh, that you get so tired you fall asleep. But let's make a roll to see if you fall asleep. And I rolled a 2, so you completely failed staying awake. Then
I love how that role can be applicable to any kind of situation. It's not just your skills. It's just like your... everything about you.
So I'm being informed by the mechanics. You're playing a character in the space we've created.
But the mechanics are simple enough where you can just glance at them and it keeps you in the mindset that where you're doing the narrative shuffling instead of having to stop and then weigh and measure what the mechanics actually mean.
And so
the interpretive communication there between the mechanics and you.
Now, where can I go with if I roll a complication while you're passed out, where can I go? Oh, man, I could have them take you captive. I could have them steal Sarah. There's all kinds of glorious ways I could take this adventure when you failed while you were out cold. I just had them sneak up and incapacitate the truck and set up a warning. So I could have had them take you hostage or her hostage. What I said, I don't want to. They wouldn't do that right now. They're not. They don't know what they're dealing with, but they are going to make sure that you get the message. They're going to kill the truck and they're going to put up a warning sign. So I just described that to you the next morning. Then
it's almost like they're honorable though. That's what I got to me because they took out they honor a warrior's ability, which they saw that he witnessed me taking out the 2 guys. So he wouldn't kill somebody.
Which by the way, in my prep, 30 minutes before we started, was Indies are just, they are a local tribe they call them Indies because they're independent people who will not help civilization. They're savages basically. They're Indies. So they call them the Indies. They're independents. Well, that's it. But now we're starting to develop a culture solely by dice rolls. So now we got a culture coming that I didn't invent, I didn't write. However, I'm creating kind of as I roll a complication. Like, well, here's the deal.
It is beautiful.
Right. So now That becomes canon. So later you say, hey, I know the indies, man. You've experienced what the indies do live, and you can say to people, hey, the indies, they got a code. I don't quite know it, but here's what happened. You become the carrier of the canon of the independents.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And all I did was say, well, what would they do here while you're unconscious? I don't want to take complete advantage of you. The complication was you already was complication, and then I rolled to see if you passed out. You did. Then I rolled another complication while you were unconscious, and I didn't want to take complete advantage. I said, well, they're definitely gonna send a signal. How you interpret that as honorable, that's on you. I didn't say they're honorable people, you did. But that becomes canon, which is pretty cool, right? You may be wrong. Doesn't matter, right? Okay, next, you said, is there a walkie-talkie? And so, yeah, there's a walkie-talkie. I'm not going to roll for it. There's a walkie-talkie, but I did roll a complication. One, the walkie-talkie comms, question mark. Do you get anybody on the horn? No, I rolled a complication. You don't, right? The next one was a flare launch. This was not a complication. This was an actual roll. This would have been a skill check because you called on the flare, which would be you knowing the area and being a minor. This would actually be you as a professional doing this thing that other people would recognize as an SOS. I rolled a 4, which was a success. So that meant you had a successful flare launch, meaning somebody out there has seen it, and because you succeeded, it'll be a positive effect, so I don't have to worry about a complication there. And then last, I rolled a complication as you were leaving camp, and I made it something simple. Sarah is in a hurry, and she gets way out in front. So now I have Sarah to play with as a potential victim if I roll another complication as we go, but you handled it by saying, all right, damn it, Ronnie, go catch her up. Right? The next roll I made was not a complication as you ran into the guys that were going to go up the tracks and look for that flare. And that's where we wrapped up the session. Completely 100% organic. I did all the mechanics. It all was easy to exercise, easy to do. I needed no prep outside of the world we agreed on, which was we're going to be in the Rocky Mountains, springtime, in the wastelands of what's left of America in 2071. I did have you set working for the PE, and these people were with you, but I didn't tell you who you were going to be. You decided you were a minor and you'd been a local, right? Now, did you do any other work for your character? What did your character constitute for this?
My character constitute a concept primarily. Whenever I left off, I wanted to fit inside of the world and a lot of it lends to me, like, and why the trust is there with you is we're all doing something that is feasibly reasonable,
right,
and logical within the space that we create together.
Right.
So that's why I don't question what you're doing, because it seems when you have that back and forth flow, I'm not doing something that's outrageous. My mind isn't geared toward gaming the system and trying to leverage it like I'm working against it. Mm-hmm. No, we're working in harmony together to try to create something, and not
how you play your character cues me. If you played your character aggressively and said, I level that gun, I'm going to take out Lobo while he's backs to me while he's cutting the heart out of this bear, you're dictating the kind of session and the kind of character you want to play. My complication is going to be more violent. My complication is going to be more right, because if you say you're leveling your gun and you want to shoot at Lobo, well, obviously, if I roll a complication, this thing blows up in your face. The gun backfires in your face, or they turn on you and they rush you. All 5 of them rush you, whatever. So how you're also playing through the narrative space that you envision your character in. And I talk about this all the time. The problem I have with most role playing is we know the genre, we know the thing. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons, fantasy genre, and we all have our archetype, fighter, whatever. Or we're playing Call of Cthulhu and I'm a detective, or I'm a photographer for the paper, or I'm a writer, I'm a reporter for the paper, whatever the case may be. I have this character that exists in this space. But I don't have the option of helping create the mise-en scene through how I express my character. So not only do I choose what I say and how I act, that should also inform the flavor of the narrative that Dell wants to have, right, in this session.
Yeah.
So your character also dictates, and you've heard me say it before, and I believe this is true in life, not just in gaming. Violence begats a life of violence. Those who live a life of violence will die a life in violent, right? Will end violently. And so if you're going to play a character in violence, you're going to have that kind of adventure, right? If you're going to play a character that's human and knows that he's vulnerable and is not out here to kill indies, you're out here to find silver, right? You're staying within the narrative maison scene, and your character, by you presenting it a particular way, creates a space that I can continue to embrace through my complication rolls. Now, that doesn't mean that all the rolls will be something like clouds or snow. No, the more complicated the game gets, the more complicated and the more dangerous the game gets, the more the complications. So when you said I'm looking for tracks, animal tracks in a cave, and I roll bear, it got more dangerous right there. If you said I'm going to continue on to find this bear's cave, okay, if I roll another complication, he's going to face the bear. He's going to face a bear, right? And I already knew the next complication, if you continued forward, was going to be hungry bear. Or I already knew in my head, okay, or he's going to come across the hunters, because I already figured, they're out probably hunting. They're not necessarily tracking. They weren't, I think you locked up. They weren't necessarily tracking your vehicle. They just happened to be on the hunt when your vehicle, passed them, right? So the point is, we really can play organically this way. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I'm playing. We follow off of each other, so we're prompting each other in style and tone, pace. Whenever I'm playing and I go like, to me, my mind, I was a bit of a scout. I needed to take them up there and do some of the local areas as far as getting to the mines up on this mountain. So let's follow the tracks. And I could conceivably, at least with the company, knew what my, in a briefing beforehand, what my deal was. Yeah. Now, if it just went from bad to worse, so I felt like it was a survivability thing. But I was having a ton of fun trying to survive in this world of dangers. I didn't want to go in there like some kind of a, Batman archetype where I'm just kicking butt.
But you could have. You could have chose to be. That's my whole point. You decide who you are. You could have been literally hired as the guide. And you're a badass, cold-hearted son of a bitch if that's what you want to play.
Exactly. That's the point I'm making. We follow tone. We follow off of what in the way we want to play. But I can dictate that how I want to interact with the world, whether aggressively or passively or defensively or however. And I get enjoyment out of doing that. I don't have to be in a situation where Dell, you should attack these people because this is a war game. No, I'm like I
And sometimes it'll happen to you, right? I mean, a complication can be that Lobo, you passed out, exhausted while trying to stay up and guard, and you wake up to Lobo, dragging you by the feet out, and you're in a fight for your life against Lobo and his 3 or 4 warriors, in the middle of the night.
The man-eater, they're breaking out the man-eater.
Right.
But anyway, no, I love that. Like, falling behind the guide and sitting there, like, frantic. Mm-hmm. I can already see my fingers start to get, like numb and frostbitten as I'm trying to hold on to this gun. And I'm like, just panicked about them coming down. I don't have a mindset, come face me. It's nothing like that. It's like,
God, no. Not if you want to survive in the world. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what's liberating about it is, again, we're taking the naive narrator to an even greater place for the GM. Right, because now we're saying you need to set the space though, right? So what will be paramount, even in Dark Age of Man, we set Dredgewater. We give you Dredgewater as a place that if you've read the book, when you build a character for Dark Age of Man, you know that you know these NPCs, you know who the Lord is at Dredgewater. You will be set. You'll set yourself in a space knowing some of these things. And even if you don't, like at a convention, they just make a quick character. They may not have read the book. They haven't had time to read the book to know that Sarah is Goldleaf is the woman who owns the Goldleaf Inn. Doesn't matter. They'll find out through play, right? I'm going to go over to the Goldleaf Inn, and right, whatever the case may be. So your setup can be as simple as mine, right? You needed to know, and it was paramount. And I've said this before. If I tell you it's 2071, right, that'll tell you what chapter of the book, what era of our history in our space game we're in. Oh, 2071, that takes place in the wastelands on old Earth. That's where we're playing next weekend, guys. We're going to be playing Chapter 8. Make characters that would fit in this situation of the year 2071 of old Earth, right? And that could be North Africa, it could be America, the wastelands of America, whatever the case may be, right? Okay, so they would know, okay, and the character, by the way, for those who don't know, test play, your character is basically a name, a profession, and a handful of sentences. There is no attribute scores, there are no skill scores. If you say you're a pilot, then you will navigate the world as somebody who is a qualified pilot and all that entails. There will be checks based on how crazy a challenge is. So if you just want to pilot the plane, we don't make any rolls for piloting the plane. But if you're going to land the plane when the engine's dead, we're going to have to make a check. And if you're a pilot, it's going to be easier for you than it would be for somebody who's not a pilot, right? And so those rolls are done by the GM, and the players just play characters, right? That they claim they want to be. I'm a pilot, pilot the fucking plane. Do things a pilot would do, right? Right.
This is another thing that I didn't really fully realize. Your question about me, like, did it hurt for you? Roll it. Actually, it made it more suspenseful.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have to aware me, if that's even a word, of the fact that, okay, now I roll. I know it's a success. Now I'm about to prep to hear what is a successful resolution to my role by the naive narrator.
Yeah.
All I do is say, I tell you what I'm attempting to do, and then I watch it unfold. And there's uncertainty in it, so I'm like gravitates right on to what you're saying, and it just unfolds in front of me in real time. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not pre-awarded something like, you're about to hear, oh, success. Well, this is what happens.
Yeah. Well,
it's just like, I don't know what's happening. I'm watching it unfold like a Christmas gift.
So if
in front of me through the narrative.
and my whole attitude about this, my whole attitude about our second role-playing game is that for the first time we're saying, no, we're actually talking about mechanics that actually support role-playing as the thing we're doing, not the game where we role-play in it. So my conceit as a developer in this is, no, this is about role-playing. And yes, there's going to be some mechanics that allow us to have effects upon play. But what if those mechanics come from our GM, our naive narrator, our presenter? But for once, a game that says, no, this is a role-playing. We're actually role-playing. There's a game portion here, but don't worry about it. That's there to prompt the GM as to complications and success or failure and then, right, you're meant to play effing characters and be so we're actually stripping away this idea. So imagine if role-playing had not been developed, had not been a fallout of a combat game.
Yeah.
What if people had said, hey, we really want to do this thing called role-playing, and right, which we do as children in Cops and Robbers or Cowboys and Indians, when you run around the neighborhoods going, I shot you, I'm robbing whatever. And people say, well, I don't want to play pretend Cops and Robbers. I need a game. I need an effect. I need to know whether I succeed or not. Yep, okay. But what if we say, yeah, well, wait a minute. What if role-playing had developed from the state of mind that you are a character and there's mechanics exist, but you don't get to manipulate them, and you don't necessarily it's unfortunate that role-playing happened as a result of playing a combat game. As opposed to, what if combat rules had come out of a role-playing experiment, right? What happened was role-playing came out of a combat experiment. And it's like, oh shit, we've been strapped with combat, and rolling dice and combat came first. Role-playing happened to go, hey, let's attach characters to this. As opposed to, what happens if people that role-played and then say, you know what would be cool? What if we have a combat system to go with our character role-play? Unfortunately, we've been living for 55 years with the other result, which was, hey, let's play a combat game, and then some people say, yeah, but I'd love the idea of playing my general, the general of my troops, or right? And we're saying, wait a minute, I know this is going to be really difficult for people to handle, but you claim you want to play a role-playing game, then you're going to role-play, and you're going to be a character. The gaming part is going to happen
Yeah,
behind the
the
scenes.
curtain, and it needs to be.
And there are going to be people who say, "Oh, dude, I got to roll dice. I got to be in control." Well, that's it. It's about control. You want to be in control of your fate. Well, then, as a character, make decisions. Right? The maze-zone scene of your character choosing not to pursue the bear. When you've seen the bear tracks, you said, "Okay, I'm going to back off this little plan and go back to camp." That cued me in the maze-zone scene that your character's not a risk taker. Your character right now doesn't want to face the bear. So if I roll another complication, it might be that the bear has followed you back to camp, but he hasn't yet attacked you. Or I could roll another complication completely free of the bear because you've said I don't want to engage in the bear. You basically have said it by how your character, but the bear is now out there. You know it's out there. I know it's out there. And every time that you do anything in this area, you know the bear could show up because it's been established, right?
Yeah, no, it's really like you said, it was role-playing was predicated on an offshoot. I mean, it was of wargaming.
Yeah.
Down to not controlling squadrons or whatever to where you're controlling an individual.
Right.
But it still was shackled to that being primarily, and people get drunk on mechanics and the minutia of mechanics.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you want to be in a headspace of more of an in-character, as character, and experience that thrill of me.
I mean, I would have happily done this morning, and I would have had your character in front of me and all your data, and I would have rolled all the dice for you. You would have just play your fighter doing what we're doing. We could do this with any game. Now, if we have a big party of, say, 6 characters, that's a lot of work for the GM. That's why that's not ideal for something where you got 6 characters. I'm looking at all 6 character sheets. I'm also managing monsters, and I'm rolling all the dice. That becomes impractical for a game like D&D or White Box. So we're trying to create a game that says, wait a minute, don't worry about all that, because you're not going to have big monster stat blocks, and you're not going to have character sheets with a ton of variables on them, and you're not going to... Dell is going to tell me, my name is Robin Burns, I'm a pilot, and my one sentence motivation is this, and my personality sentence is this, and my how I handle conflict is this. There'll be like a sentence that prompts everyone that's kind of how you're choosing to role play the character. Now, you're still going to be an actual person live, but there should be you should be informed by your motivation sentence, you should be informed by your how you handle conflict sentence. You should be informed about so there'll be a handful of sentences that kind of inform everybody at the table of not only who you claim you're going to role play, but that would also prompt me as a GM to say, okay, he's told me that his one single motivation is greed. I'm going to be anticipating that some of the complications that might come up in play, if you're honest about how you're playing your greedy thief, is guess what? You hear wind that there's $1 million stashed in an old mine, and your character should, because you said greed is a primary motivation, should put pressure on the rest of the group to go investigate that treasure in the mine.
Yeah, well, my character here, for example, is a little bit... Everybody's more subtly complex and just kind of... I think, like, when you said who you're playing, I would say, like, it would make sense that this company would actually want to get a local to be able to do this, to know some of the territory... is skirt around
and we could have had a character introduction, but we just launched into play. I let you I wanted you to kind of express your character as it comes up naturally. By showing, not telling.
Correct. So it's like I don't need this exposition of what I am. I would rather just play and show. And as you pointed out, me showing dictates and moves how the world responds to me in kind.
Because I treat your character's intentions and actions as part of the maze-zone scene. When you choose not to pursue the bear tracks, that's the whole scene. That's you stating, I am expressing not only through my choice, but also that means it's going to affect maybe the nature of the world here, briefly.
But see, conceptually, I could express at the start of the thing the concept of my character. I could use words that are keywords toward that may be that's a little bit contrived to me.
Which is why we're not using. Which is why, and ad infinitum, every time I talk about this stuff in my videos on roleplay, always somebody pokes their head up and says, "You're on to play PBTA." No, goddammit, I know what PBTA is. It's a fucking contrivance of moves. If I fucking wanted to do that, I would have played PBTA 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I don't want the contrivance of these mechanics. I just want us to be characters.
I want to express it in the game. Show not tell. I don't need to stop.
And I don't need to be told I've got to use the terminology or use a move set or some horse shit that pretends that it wants to get away from D&D in the greatest way, but then creates these shackles of narrative prompts that you don't need. You just don't need.
That's the only way they can conceive of a book, and that's what you're paying.
Right. Yeah, they're wanting to sell, I suppose, a rule set. Right. Yeah. Right.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, you locked up. That was a good lock.
That's what you're paying for in the book. That's what you're paying for is the structure, so you feel like you're working within a structure when really ultimately you don't need it. Like we proved that in Dark Japan. In this, people through social contract will stay in line and stay respecting one another. And build it. I don't need somebody to construct a book.
And I define
to tell me how with guardrails.
Yes, correct. But notice what I did.
Out of the freaking situation.
But notice what I did, which become rules and mechanics. I defined the date. I defined where we were at. I defined the time. I defined that you worked for somebody. I defined your weapon. That becomes a mechanic, rules and mechanics that I will use. Not you. So I defined it so you understood it. Your ball gun is short range. It's inaccurate, but it can shoot anything from pebbles to lead shot, right?
Yeah.
And it is incredibly deadly, right? And so this weapon became a rule more so than your character sheet became the rule, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You can be your badass warrior in our game by how you play your fucking character. I'm the guy who draws my sword and challenges people to a sword fight. Great. The mechanics will support you being that guy.
Yeah, but Toby Long he is somebody who knows how to get around and skirt around danger, or like this he came right into the face of it. He just happened to cross path. I was wanting to keep a low profile, but I'm dealing with a couple of other people. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not by myself.
No,
I'm dealing with a driver here who was a little bit of a trigger happy jack, as well as somebody who I can see him as a character being someone who wants to do something that he's not capable of. His abilities doesn't match.
Or he has yet to have the experience to understand the danger.
Exactly. Yeah, but I still respect him in that. But it takes a lot to take on the baggage or luggage of two people.
I tried to show you who Ronnie was, not tell you. Ronnie was a young man who had a weapon that he, like most young men, they think if they got a gun, they got something, but they have no fucking clue what it's like to get your ass kicked, to get shot at, or worse, to kill somebody. Right? The Unforgiven in the film Unforgiven, the kid, until he actually kills somebody, doesn't understand what he's done. It's not real until you fucking kill somebody, right? And so I kind of tried to show that Ronnie was one of these young he thought, hey man, as long as I got a gun, I'm the shit. And it's my prized possession, but he's naive. He's never really been out here in the world to find out how dangerous it really is, right? Yeah. And that failed when I rolled the complication of him running down the mountain, and then when you got in the fight, and I rolled another complication. That complication was the hunter catching him and just about to kill him when you found him, right? Instead of the complication affecting you, it affected Ronnie.
Well, the built-in situational complication for me was having two people that I was supposed to get up the mountain that could compromise me or be more of a handicap.
Correct.
So I'm having to work within that thing. So that is a mechanic in a certain way.
Correct.
I knew when you were talking about the guns or the world, that is just the world interfacing points with the world and how you may affect the world or how it may affect you, whether you're shooting a gun or trying to operate this truck or this truck now has things. So there's things that can inhibit or that can produce opportunities for me as a character to propel myself forward or while I'm stumbling back have to contend with these things. So that to me, if we want to say that there are mechanics in the world. That's different. That's different. That's narrative focal points and objects to utilize. But I agree with that. And even like the understanding of like, who are you? In no way, shape, or form had I survived on that mountain, or had I survived through being naive.
No. Right.
By being more of a loner, by not wanting to take people up there,
Right.
but having to take jobs sometimes
Sure.
to be able to get a little money, and they offered me some to take her up there.
Yeah.
Well, that's my motivation. I didn't have to say like nothing. If I'm greedy from going to the mountains, it's
Right.
not going to override my objective.
Yeah.
If I was to honestly take on that contract with taking her up the mountain. So that was the concept of me that was being able to be expressed in the game, and you picked up on, and we played off of each other.
Right.
And so you just saw my reactions, and it
Right.
fed
And
how the world reacted.
you don't get to choose necessarily in the session where you're going to start. I'm gonna make you. I made you a contractor. With this group of people. Now you get to choose whether you're another geologist or whether you're the leader of this expedition. You get to choose. Again, you get to be who you say you are. Hey, I'm the leader of this expedition, man. I'm the manager at PE, and I'm out here to find silver, baby. And you could play that way, and we're gonna again. It's part of the narrative. It's part of the structure.
I just want to play.
And if you're irritated that I've made you part of this group, then your characters can be irritated that I resent having to take these fucking landlubbers out to sea, right? You can resent the fact that you're in that situation.
Ronnie, I had a little bit of a respect for, and I could see him as probably a younger me, but she was getting to be not overly so, but a little bit of a pain. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? In certain ways by how she responded to me. So I love that interplay of characters, because my character isn't perfect. He's making bad choices. He's doing some things that might not be the best. He's experiencing this is where when we talk about like I know we beat that drum about like sanity or whatever, but I love getting to react to situations as I can see my character doing so. Like whenever I said like they're coming after me, I can sense that in the moment as I'm playing that I'm running behind the body. I'm propping the gun up on the body I just knocked out, or just barreled off of Ronnie. I'm laying there and I'm trying to wake Ronnie up. Take the gun. They're coming down the mountains, and then like frantically looking around. I know I'm
compromised. You're in a dangerous situation.
But to be in that situation, I don't want to feel like I'm playing constantly in games where I'm the superhero taking out. I mean,
or worse, you're playing. I'll say worse. The traditional situation is everybody knows that we're going to roll initiative. Oh, I got a +3 initiative. I have a weapon that does 1d10 +3 strength +2 damage. I've got these spells. They go in anticipating their army, which is their character, and that's a whole army of shit that they're gonna engage the game in. And so, as opposed to being a character in space, and you don't know. What you did know is you had a ball gun that had it was a pump action, air compressed, silent weapon that did a shit ton of damage from short distance, right? But you knew, even laying behind that body, because we defined the gun as your lone chance of really expressing yourself as and I purposely said I'm gonna create the gun that your character carries. And you knew that you had one shot. So if Lobo comes bounding down the mountain with his 3 other warriors, you got one good shot, and then you're going to be in melee with 3 fucking dangerous.
Dude, I knew I was SOL. And then when you said like you're laying there and this time's ticking by and it's been about a minute and a half, I'm thinking they're surrounding us. It's the pincer movement.
Right.
You get
your imagination, and I don't have to do it. You are creating that in your own space, in your own. And this is the other thing I kind of discussed a little bit with Anthony. I haven't had a lot of conversations with Anthony, but in our talk, part of what bothers me about role playing is my imagination is mine, and it's as valid as yours. It doesn't have to be correctly, and it doesn't have to be the truth. But the GM can literally restrict that imagination by defining everything. That's fine. But if the GM does not do that, then I should be liberated to imagine, are these guys surrounding me? Are these guys coming for me? What the hell? And you'll find out as time passes that they obviously aren't pursuing us. What the hell are they doing? And then you said, well, I got to move. Well, we're going to go back down to camp. I'll take my chance they're not surrounding me. You know, that's because that's the world you live in. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
So you as a character have to act. And you could have said, you know what? I'm tired of waiting on these bastards. I'm going to stand up and scream for them. Where the fuck are you at? I'm going to go back up the mountain and try to find this guy. You could have been an aggressive person. The next roll I make might be a complication. Yeah, you get what you want. Lobo falls out of the trees on your head, and you're knocked your gun out.
I don't have to roll that roll and say, oh, it's a complication. Oh, it isn't. Or either, I'm successful.
Right.
I just watch it appear in front of me as the narrative unfolds.
And I'm only taking the complications as far as I need to take them. Oh, it's cloudy. And I just say to you, show, don't tell. Ronnie looks at you and says, hey, we got about 2 hours worth of power in the batteries. With this cloud cover, man, we're not going to get any solar recharge.
Do you know how sabotage games are? Because the GMs don't take into concession the immediacy of what's being felt by the player, what the player's expressing, to be able to play off of that.
Well, that's why in character as character is tricky, because when somebody says, hey, I like to play in character as character, yeah, but what you're really doing is waiting for the GM to allow you to respond to things.
Yeah.
So I'm in character as character, but then I'm wait 5.5 minutes for the GM to stop describing his fucking story for me to say in character as character, which passed 5 minutes ago. Right.
Yeah. It needs to be more immediate. That's well. I like to play in the moment. Like all the little details really don't matter. Like if you say it's been a minute and a half, and I go, okay, we need to get that Ronnie.
Right.
Look, you know, he's in my mind. He's sitting over there shivering and trying to look and wiping the blood out of his eyes, is dripping down, and he's trying to.
Well, they matter. They matter in the fact that I use them to let you know time is advanced, and I may make another complication roll depending on what you say next.
See, my mind isn't. That's what's beautiful. My mind isn't on the complication.
Right.
My mind. We're so acutely aware.
Yeah.
Anybody can be if we allow each other to play off each other.
Yeah.
And we listen.
Yeah.
We're engaged, and we say like, "Oh crap!" They're shivering behind this dude. He's laying there. He's paranoid. His eyes are fluttering everywhere. I'm expressing my character's like bodily, physically movements to portray something. This is what's happening in the media said of that, and you just say you hear a twig crack over to your left, and I go like, "Oh crap!" And then I shift.
Yeah.
You don't have to, display what I'm witnessing. I need to go key off of that and go. I shift immediately to that. That's what keeps it alive.
And you notice,
and then this wolf just bails out.
Right.
And,
And you notice in this session, the nature of this. Never did I tell you what you're doing or how you felt. Don't have to. I only have to complicate the world around you or make a roll on your behalf if you try to do something in which there's a challenge. I make a roll to see if you succeed or fail. Then I describe how you fell forward or describe how you succeed or whatever. That's it.
Yeah.
And so on top of everything, it also removes this sense that the GM is going to dictate to you what you're thinking or what you're doing or how you feel about a thing. It's just naturally, I don't have to. I've got this stuff that I just say, I got to put all this in front of you. You're going to decide what that means to you. When I say after about a minute and a half, you lay here for about a minute and a half, I don't decide what that means to you. I cue you that it's been a minute and a half. You should be, if you're paying attention, going, okay, they should be honest by now if they're coming after us. So you naturally said, oh, they might be surrounding us. Right?
Oh, yeah.
But I needed to cue you,
that.
that there were no more complications here. That was my way of saying, it's been about a minute and a half and there's no more complications. But the minute you say you're going to do something, I'm going to pick up the dice and roll, there might be another complication. Right.
But see, you roll the dice. You knew there was no complication. All you had to tell me that it's just a prompt.
Yeah.
See, I don't need to draw away from going like, what did you roll?
Yeah.
I just need to know. Like,
right. Yeah.
when you said,
Uh-oh.
You had a breakdown again?
Yeah, no, we're okay. Hello? Uh-oh.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, like I said, we had like you said, a minute and a half. I'm just saying, with my body actions described, with whatever and I say I pick up and turn and run down the hill.
Yeah.
Then you just respond. But
Yep.
this system allows
It's live.
it allows the player to be more immersed in the situation because I can stay with my perception of what's going on and run with it. You're not sitting there to go like, no, this is actually what's happening to you.
Well, if it was, I would tell you. I would flat tell you, as you lay over this unconscious body and you bark at Ronnie, you see Lobo come bounding down the hill with two other warriors, spears in hands, howling right for you. I would just tell you, they're coming on you. Right.
That was an uneasy feeling.
But the fact that I said, you've been here about a minute and a half and nothing. You're not hearing nothing. You're not seeing nothing. You decide what to do.
Though. I was like, either they're going to get Sarah or they're surrounding us or both. And we need to get the hell down here. I was trying to think of leaving as fast as possible or just regrouping.
Right.
I was really like an all-out stand. So that immediacy, the thrilling aspect of it, the what are we going to do? You don't experience that when you're a freaking wish fulfillment superhero kicking everybody's butt or whatever. I'm just saying, if you want that, the stuff that we get out of movies and books and everything else, if you want to experience something more subtly complex and nuanced,
listen, you've got it.
Like
you've had it for 55 years, and you've got it with 5,000 tabletop role-playing games. Have fun. That's what you've been doing. Keep doing it. Have a good time, right? How about again? As I said before, I'm not trying to reinvent. I'm not trying to reinvent D&D, and I'm not trying to reinvent Call of Cthulhu. I'm saying, listen, Dark Age of Man is a thing, and this is what we're trying to do. And you can take it or you can leave it. You can appreciate it or you can say it doesn't get it done. I don't give a shit. It's what our contribution to the world. Space Age of Man will be our second contribution. It will be loaded with our lore. It'll be loaded with our time, and it will be, and ironically, it won't be so loaded with mechanics. It'll be loaded with what makes it why you'd want to play Space Age of Man, which is our world, our science fiction. And wow, what if there isn't a major chapter on character gen? It's a one page. Who the fuck are you? What do you do? And what are your like 3 key sentences to your character? And oh, by the way, understand that we're going to start this session or campaigns in Chapter 8, which happens to be the Wasteland of Earth. And so you're going to read the quick introduction of the Wasteland of Earth chapter, and you're going to say, oh, this is kind of what we're doing. So I'm going to make a character that maybe fits into this time. Oh wait, we're going to do 2122, Chapter 12. That's now interplanetary travel just in our little solar system, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm going to want to make characters that are in spaceships and characters who are astronauts and characters who are capable of these kind of things, right? So they would know in Chapter 12 we're doing, this is where we're going to start our campaign at the year 2129 or whatever. And that becomes, and that kind of clues people into, oh, so our character gen isn't for the whole fucking, it's a simple page character gen for the whole book. But you're technically going to make your little character for whatever chapter we're saying we're going to start our campaigns in. Or we're going to play tonight. Hey, it's a one-off. We're going to play on the old Earth, Wastelands. Right? So make a character that suits you for that. And it'll take you how long to make a name, find out what you're doing here, and, And then, of course, the GM is going to tell you kind of your setup. Hey, whether you like it or not, this is kind of the situation you're in, right? And then that just sets
to me, right when you told me, I said, oh, okay, that's what he would be.
Yeah. Because what I will not do, because what doesn't work for in-character, as-character play, we don't start on a tabula rasa where I say, okay, Dale, who are you, what are you doing? Because that is a real problem. It's like, well, I don't know, where are we in Wasteland America in 2071? You could say, I'm wandering the streets of Detroit. And I go, okay, what does 2071 Detroit look like? And that's, I think that can become a problem, because especially when there's 4 people in a group. Let's say there's 4 of you. We have to know that, oh, we're going to do Chapter 8, 2071, Wasteland America. Everybody knows you're going to make a character that might have to do with Wasteland America. What situation I put the group in to launch. That they're going to find their character fitting into that situation. Yeah, no matter what they are.
The locale or whatever. You know what I mean? At least bare minimum.
And that's important because it lets you, in character, as character, understand the immediate space. Or you can't be in character if you don't understand your immediate space.
Well, yeah, and you're
gonna meta.
Like,
part of my problem with Dark Age of Man, the way we set it up, is I find myself, as I told Anthony, some of my frustrations in my Dark Age of Man experiences as a player. When I'm in Dredgewater, I get it, but there's this meta moment where I'm kind of creating a character in a space that's kind of meta, which is not in character. Right? In character, the world's already kind of happening to me. That's what makes me feel like I'm in character. But when I start describing the whole scene, right? Now, when I describe my character in response to what you've told me, that becomes kind of a Maison scene effect. That if you as a GM are saying, oh, Dell's backing away from the bear tracks, he's setting the Maison scene for a guy standing in the woods, looking up a mountain, in 10 inches of snow that's come across fresh bear tracks while the snow's falling, and he says, nah, I'm backing down the mountain. You set the whole Maison scene. We're sharing this narrative space. I see in my head that. Yeah. You may see it a little differently, but I'm still seeing the Maison scene in my head is you going, I'm headed back down to camp. Not going to tangle with a bear right now. Right?
I know. I could see myself turning around or whatever, and anyway, it's great. So when you have that trajectory of knowing where you are, then you can feel more confident as a player, going like, okay, you could still fit a concept that you feel comfortable in, or do you desire playing a character inside of that scene? But that's a perfect prompt. When you told me, it's going to be that way, and I go, okay, well, I can see myself being this. I mean, it could just be generic, like you're in Georgetown and this is what's going on.
By not having hit points, by not having a combat character sheet, which is basically a combat sheet, I know I do 1d10 damage, I know I can hit armor class, blah, with a +7, and oh, by the way, I have 42 hit points, I can pretty much survive at least a few rounds against any damn thing. So that person becomes this, he evaluates the game through his ability to do damage or sustain damage for a period of time, as opposed to being a character who's vulnerable in a world, right? Aragorn may have been a badass ranger in Lord of the Rings. He was the once and future king who's great with a sword. He's been tromping around the wilderness. He knows his weeds. He knows his fucking herbs. He's great with a sword. He's part immortal, right? But he understood the dangers of running into Uruk-hai. He understood the dangers of the orcs and the goblins. He didn't go, hey, I got 42 hit points and goblins they have a hit die 1/2. I get to roll 6 hits at level 4. I'm gonna wade through these fucking goblins. That you're heroic, but the problem with that is you also know you're pretty much invulnerable, and that's how is that effective? How does that set an effective stage for being a character in a story as opposed to being a hero setting out to just waylay shit, right? Which is what I'm which is what I'm saying is fine, works wonderfully for this kind of gaming. But we're not trying to create this kind of gaming. We're trying to make a role-playing
if I get myself into
not a game in which you role-play, right?
Yeah, if like you said, I backed away from the bear. Yeah. I mean, that's really okay. If I know if I'm playing, and I know I can get myself in a situation where the stakes are high, and my life is on the line, where I may need to roll a 3. Why do I want to fast track in a trajectory, velocity wise, toward that situation?
Well, you might. I mean, you could have well said, "Ooh, bear, we're going to need to eat, and I want to get rid of this sucker. I'm following those bear tracks," and we got a different adventure, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, but that would be out of necessity. You know what I mean? If we had been out there for a couple of days, I knew to skewer a boar. Or something
or like me, if I'm in a so like me, if it's me and I'm in that situation, and I know now that a bear fresh out of hibernation, I know the danger that is, and I know he's in our vicinity. I'm gonna go deal with him. I'd rather deal with him now than have him wandering on our camp at 2 a.m. and attack Sarah or attack me while I'm half asleep. So I, as a character, might have said, "Holy shit, I got to deal with this bear. I cannot have it go back and kill Sarah and Ron. I can't be dealing with this thing at 2 a.m. So I might have, as a character, said, "I hate it, but I gotta fucking get rid of it. I gotta go find this bear. It's dangerous."
That's you as a character expressing
Correct.
your character and
Correct.
his mindset.
Correct.
See, my character has a different mindset.
Correct.
Why
That's
he's there in the
what I
first
mean
place.
by being
That's
in
what's
character
beautiful.
as character. Now the adventure is me tracking a fucking bear with a one-shot ball gun that if I hit is deadly, right?
But you know what you're getting yourself into, and you know the stakes of it. So when,
But I also know my motivation, my personal motivation. This thing's in our vicinity. It's dangerous. I'd rather get it now than have it wander in on us at 6 while we're making dinner, right? Right. And you can bet if the GM has rolled a die and said, "Hey, there's a bear in the area," you can bet when a complication comes up later, that bear is going to come waylay our camp. I just know it, right?
Yeah. So, well, see, that's depends on the character you're playing. You know what I mean? If I was more of a different mindset, I would have that.
And that's the joy of being a character and not a character sheet. Well, I got 42 hit points. I do 1d10. My armor class is 0. Fuck. Bring the bear on. I don't give a shit. You know? I'm tired of that kind of game.
Low-level monster.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm a level 6 fucking magic user. I'll hit it with a D8 fireball twice. You know, it's just I have zero interest in that kind of gaming at all, which is why I like low-level fantasy gaming, because you are vulnerable, and the vulnerability is what makes the character valuable to me, not the invulnerability gaming that this creates as we get into higher levels. So this is why I always like playing levels 1 to 3. Because I want players to feel the trepidation of a dangerous world, right?
Yeah.
Which is why it was so important to have save versus death. A lot of people hate them. Oh, I can't believe my level 12 died with a fucking sting save versus death. But without that save versus death, you would never feel the trepidation of the killer bee, which only has 2 hit points.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's I think as far as your rolling overall, rolling for prompts, rolling for me. Did it seem like you had to do...
Well, I'm not even rolling for prompts. The prompts come when you speak. When you said, "Hey, Ronnie, let's get up the tracks. Let's get going, man."
I've just been like the even odd, whether something...
Oh, yeah. I'm just rolling for whether I need to introduce something or not. That's it.
But how much do they impede your art?
Zero. I only roll when there's some effective reason for it, like you saying we're... Oh, you locked up again.
Yeah, I just mean like with you rolling the dice as a GM overall, was it more so seamless, or was it?
It's the easiest thing we've ever done, because the prompt. Now, granted, if you have trouble thinking on the fly as a GM, that's going to be hard to come up with complications. There are going to be people who just can't do this. They just aren't capable of saying what's a fair complication. You're going to get some jackasses that make the complication, something life or death right out of the gate, which could still be fine depending on the situation they're in, right? So some people won't understand complications need to be... They need to be almost... The initial complication needs to... You need to introduce information that makes the players aware of an impending problem. You don't necessarily just spring... Right, I'm not going to have you just drive over a bomb on the railroad tracks. Now, I could, and have your Jeep blown to hell. You guys are thrown from the vehicle as it's blown to hell by a makeshift bomb on the trail. And you guys are standing in the snow and you're dazed and you stand up and your vehicle's burning. But I don't kill anybody, but I destroy your... That's a complication. Who the fuck put this bomb here? What kind of story am I... I'm not even... I don't even know what I'm doing with that, but I could have done that. I could have had your vehicle actually blown to hell. And you would have been aware, somebody has mined this. They don't want us going up this trail to the mine. But you make sense of that, not me. I just blew your fucking vehicle all to hell. You decide what this means. I go, well, maybe that's true. It doesn't matter. What matters is I put a fucking mine under your vehicle, right?
That's what's so powerful about it. That the players and the characters talking amongst themselves, and they get to weigh in on the importance of something. Whether or not it's valid is a moot point.
No, because there'll be somebody in the group, like, let's say Jose, And Jose gets up, dusts himself, and says, "Who the fuck put that there? I'm gonna find that mother." And then the session becomes Jose and you guys tracking down the bastard that put the mine there, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get it's they decide what's important, and they have the liberty and the to do that, and to experience that, and you're just going like, "Oh, y'all are heading that way." This is a lot of.
I don't have a plan for you. I don't have a plan for you to go up the trail of the railroad tracks into a mine and experience my traps and my monsters and my cute little clever gadgets. No, you're out here to find silver on behalf of a company, and you can dictate how far that goes. You literally could have said, "Hey, I'm headed up to this this particular location. I know it's up here." Right, and I say, okay, so he's pretty much kind of knows where he's going. He tells everybody in the group where we're going. The complications then become slightly different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You get to the mine, but I rolled a complication, and the Lobos, the Independents, the Indies, have set up, they've made that mine their fucking home. Right? Yeah. So you get there and you're like, fuck, they've made so now we're going to have to get the Indies out of the mine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Exactly.
And this, it's liberating. So from a player's standpoint, it did not bother me once, and maybe I could say this is just my predisposition, but I did have that question, like when I told you that maybe people like to feel like they're affectingly, physically, like a roll of the dice or whatever, or to see that ties in with like looking at their stats and how I can affect the world by rolling it. But what I discovered, happily so, is when you're in a moment and you don't have to stop and think about that, it's more so joyous just witnessing in your mind's eye what is occurring and you responding immediately to that. You don't have to break away and switch over to like, okay.
No, you said what you did. I'm cold cocking. And for instance, combat. You flat said, I'm hitting this guy in the chin with the butt of my gun. Right? And so all I'm rolling is to see, well, are you successful? But you, on the other hand, if you're rolling the dice, you're going to go, okay, all right, what do I need to hit this guy in the chin? And what am I trying to do? No, you tell me you're trying to knock him in the chin. I'll make a roll, and I will narrate effectively whether that brings him unconscious, or whether that just stuns him, or whether he blocks it and kicks you in the chest, knocking you flat on your back in the snow. Your gun goes flying. You'll know you felt miserably, because I've described it as you felt miserably.
Yeah, but it don't even... That's what I'm saying.
And it's live. You're in the shit. You're in a fucking melee with a guy who's effectively jumped
you. When he falls on the ground, I'm going to lay on him and, maybe stab him a couple times and then get up and look for where old boy...
And I won't even have to describe to you how deadly it is. Because you're a human being. And these guys have knives and they've killed a bear and they have spears. I don't have to explain to you how deadly this is. What's my armor class? Hey, what's their hit die? What are they? Oh, nah, they can't kill me, dude. It's going to take them 10 rounds of hits and perfect die rolls to kill me. You know what I mean? No. You know how dangerous it is to be in a melee with a guy with a knife. So you wouldn't be surprised if you had multiple rounds in which you failed rolls, in which I said you are unconscious, or darkness comes upon you, and you wake up in their situation, or you literally are killed. I mean, it could be that drastic, right?
Yeah, I mean, literally, I was waiting for both of them to pass, pop, and then run straight after him. You know what I mean? And try to catch up with Ronnie. It didn't turn out that way.
Right.
And I didn't stop to think, did he roll a complication? My mind wasn't even on that. But right. I mean, when you're rolling, that's what I'm saying is liberating.
Yeah.
And so, to be able to say, like, the game wouldn't break if you say, like, the roll for this or roll for that.
No.
But really, you're hindering or hampering the immersion.
Well, and it'll be interesting. We do have to do a second one, and we need to do it where I get to be a player and experience this, where you'll roll everything, and I get to play this. Because again, anyone listening with this would say, "Oh, you guys hate playing games." No, fuck no. We've been doing this for 50 years. I like rolling dice. I like being a character in D&D. I like my sword and my shield and combat with goblins. And what I'm saying is, we've got those. We've had those for 55 years. I'm also trying to achieve a certain state of role playing as character in character space. And so I want that to be, for what it is, a different experience with dice and with mechanics and with character sheets. And that's going to mean some bold decisions in development. What do we put in this book toward making characters? What do we put in this book to demand the GM's actions? If we both decide that it's too drastic to take dice rolling away from characters, because, and I guarantee you, 99% of players are going to balk at that, period. Player facing, Simba Room's great, it's player facing, we roll everything, the GM never rolls a die against us, as if that somehow means that the GM is not your adversary. Dude, every time a GM says roll the dice, he's basically saying good luck. Right? But they think player facing is, oh man, I'm rolling all the dice so the GM can't fuck me with dice rolls. What do you mean? He's just dropping dice that are random, And if you're rolling in front of people, dice roll's a dice roll, whether you're rolling it or I'm rolling it. So that's nonsense. It does create a different effect upon the sense of an adversarial GM rolling hidden behind a screen. Right? Yeah. But if I make your character not about numbers, not about attribute scores, not about weapon gear and shit, you already know that everything that could happen in game is going to be based on a handful of variables that could dictate life or death depending on how the narrative goes. Because there is no armor class, there is no hit points, there is no my gun does 18 points of damage. There is a bear, and you have a gun that I've described how accurate or how effective it can be, right?
Yeah.
Right, and so it changes whether you are a character in a real space versus a game device in a game. Whether I'm playing Skyrim, with all the gamey pieces of Skyrim, my armor value and my strength value and my sword combination value, and it's all math, right?
Yeah, there was no switching calls for me as a player, and I think the way you said it as a naive narrator, the prompts are an aid, a benefit. Without them, it would... In other words, they are enticing you to see if there's a detriment or something beneficial that happens in a way, or
just something that happens.
How the world,
yeah,
or just how the world, what happens in the world, and that to me, that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
it's like story dice or whatever. You just drop them and say, oh crap, it's going in this direction, and then you just roll with it. But the dice is doing nothing more than prompting, which I think is probably the least invasive or inhibitive.
Right, and very easy for me because there are no other mechanisms. I'm not also looking at the bear's stat block saying, okay, bears, it says here, bears can find their prey on 1d6 turns if the group fails a survival check. Yeah, I'm not having to go through all those machinations. Okay, I got to ask the group, hey guys, somebody in the group make a survival check for me. And they all go, oh, something's going to happen. They make a and they fail. And I say, okay, that means the bear will find them in 1d6 turns. I roll the dice. Okay, in 3 turns, they're going to be this bear is going to come across them. Wonderful. It's all been dictated by rules and mechanics and actual boundaries as a game. But it's not a game by Nash's equilibrium because you don't know why I asked you to roll survival. And I could lie and pretend I rolled a 1 and he attacks you in 1 round. Or you know what I mean? So it's not even a game even in D&D despite these things because the GM knows stuff you can't know. Therefore, it's not technically a legitimate...
Yeah, exactly.
It's not tic-tac-toe. It's not a game. Right? We do things like a game. Rolling dice, odds, random chance...
Yeah, the rules aren't hard and fast in the
But for me as a GM doing this, I only have to know, hey man, now that Dell's driving the vehicle up the road, and we've changed in a way, we're moving through space. Okay, I'm going to make a quick roll to see if there's a complication. And that complication could be as simple as you blow out a tire. Fuck, I got it. Oh, all right, I got to get out and change. Now, while you get out to change the tire, well, there's a chance for another complication. We roll again. You know what? While you're changing the tire, you find that the spare tire is also flat. It could be that simple.
I know. It's great.
Or it could be, while you're changing your tire, you hear this snuffling behind you, and you stand up, you turn around in the woods, and you find an emaciated bear who's just woken up from hibernation, and he is hungry. while you're standing there with a tire iron trying to change a tire, right? Now we got you facing a bear with a tire iron, and we got adventure, right?
Yeah.
Both of them valid, both of them fun, both of them create a problem for you, right?
Yeah.
Based on a simple check. Very simple. And then there are things that you did that required kind of a skill check. I just made the roll to see if you made your 3 plus, or 3 or better, right?
Yeah.
Very simple. And that was simple based on, and you didn't do a lot of things that would have been outside of your periphery. Even when you went to shoot the gun, that was a failed roll. That would have been a simple, you were going to shoot that guy in the back. Very simple. I just made it a 3 or better, right? And I rolled a 1, which meant, but instead of having you fire and miss, I had him grab the weapon.
Well, that's what I mean. I didn't need to be, I didn't need to know all that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't have to have you go with an air gun and miss. Right.
It's like, let's just get to what is occurring
in
real time.
All that matters is you failed to roll to shoot him in the back. That could have been a miss, or since you had not dealt with the fact that the other hunter had not run by yet, I had to introduce him to the scene knowing that he was standing there looking at the rock going, there's somebody else here. And the minute you acted, there's a chance for me to put him into play. And the fact that you failed the shot into the back of the other one, well, here's where I can readily put him into play now. So technically, your failed check becomes a complication.
Yeah.
Well, all we're doing is creating, through a roll, complications, or the next effective complication. And some complications could be big, like you're rendered unconscious, and you wake up tied up in their lair, and they're about to cook you, That's pretty tough. Now, how are you going to get out of this, right?
That's a bone tomahawk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez. But, no.
You wake up to him cutting Ronnie in two. Kind of like your cousin did. Woke up right in the middle of him cutting that guy in.
What am I watching? That was... Oh, man.
Yeah, it ain't Walt Disney. You're not watching Walt Disney. This isn't. Yeah, that's
Anyway, no, it was good. It was seamless. I was glad I was there.
Mm-hmm.
The memories that you have will be unimpeded.
Yeah.
Action.
Yeah.
The memories aren't half. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times games will be, and there's nothing wrong with joking around with your buddies or whatever.
No, fuck no.
And doing the little side talk.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with traditional role playing, or we would not have done it for 50 years. We would not be involved in it.
Exactly. We're just talking about role playing where you're in character as character, unimpeded and rolling organically without stopping and less switching calls.
Right. And I have, as I did with Dark Age of Man, I've been talking about having a different experience.
Yes.
For the GM, in Dark Age of Man, more for the GM, the naive narrator seat. I was trying to create a situation in which, how can I quantify asking the GM to do this differently? At the same time, trying to say, yes, and I also want players to be in character and take some agency. That's less well-defined in Dark Age of Man. That's more problems. That's probably more... There's areas where Dark Age of Man could be better written, probably to really express the players. Right. But there's no doubt Space Age of Man. It's like, no, we're going to be coming to this now completely understanding the GM's role, the player's role, and how this experience will be unlike anything else that you're doing, without contrivances like move sets or dice rolls for social complications in a narrative shared storytelling writer's room. Well, I think this would happen now that I've succeeded at my dance check. I think I would whisk the princess off her feet with my dancing, and she would listen to my, that I can't, that kind of gaming, for me is, it's like I'm not in character at all. That's all of us sitting around going, I think this is what's going to happen, and that's cool for that kind of gaming, but it has nothing to do with being in character. Zero being in character.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then we all can imagine what it must have looked like for my character to successfully dance so well that I convinced the princess to talk to me privately, where I can say to her, "Hey, we know that there's an evil villain in town, and I'm gonna get the princess's ear." And and that was our goal, was to convince the princess to be on our side about finding the evil villain. And we all go, "Yay!"
It's writing the story. It's writing the story together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different experiences and whatnot. But I think I mean, if there seem to be too few, or at least really immersive in character role playing experiences to be had. Even the ones that they state are still overly mechanical in my mind.
All of them are. I would say 90%. Even when I talk about how I love simple games, they're still technically completely mechanical, even if they're simple. All they've done is say, well, how can we know we got mechanics, but how can we make them as simple as possible? There's still the fact that they're mechanical for initiative, rolling to hit points, how spells work. All that shit's mechanical.
Yeah.
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 So
that's what it ends up coming down to, is just trying to shave down to a minimalist point, but it still comes with that foundational concept and knowledge and understanding. And this been what role playing has been predicated on, which is a mechanical war game, an excuse to get to the fast track to the wargaming aspect of the combat.
Yep.
And it needs to be repealed. So what we're trying to do is redefine it from a role playing position. There's nothing wrong with a mechanical prompt that prompts the narrative for moving whenever something is uncertain. But it's like, even in game, like if there's something negative that somebody could potentially and unjustifiably, in my mind, warrant or level against this, is like, how do you is it just making things up or whatever it does? It makes it less fat. Well, that there's rulings in any game. That there has to be some kind of a pre-laid plan out by the GM that they create the scenario that you follow or whatever. Everything's pre-plotted, and that doesn't survive the players anyway, because it doesn't allow the players to express and learn themselves. Like me as a player, if I want to, like you said about Jose wanting to track down who put that line on there, that would be what his concern and his drive would be.
Correct.
If you say, no, Jose, our thing was that just blew up, then he's less invested in the game because he's being drugged along with something he don't really want to do. And what we've done with Dark Japan, even in rolling this, is say, what do you, as an individual, as a character, as a persona in this world, what are your motivations based on? And they can change.
Yeah.
They can change my concepts of the world I'm living in. That's part of the beauty. I don't want to have something written down in stone that I have to. I don't want to have something written down in stone that I have to align myself as a character to follow. I want it to be malleable. I want to have like epiphanies of the character. I want to have like worldview changes that I can express. This is why I don't like being prompted that my character will then have, like Anthony said, when you said like this ending, he said, because you don't need it, right?
Well, and
you don't.
I've said it before. People are confusing protagonist with hero. I want you to be a character, in character, as character, role playing, and the fact that you exist makes you the protagonist. What you do might make you heroic, or what may happen to you will be your story. It'll be the story of what happens to Dale's character. But in D&D, you are a hero, or your goal is to eventually become the guy who wields the sword, who casts the spells that wins the day. That's a completely different animal, and it requires it to be more of a gamey situation. I'm trying to say, no, let's say it is about you, and it's about your four buddies in your party, and you got four human beings who want to play characters that are protagonists in this story of Alien, or this story of Wild West bank robbers, whatever the fuck it is. Be it, play the character, be the character, but, right, your protagonists and how you feel and what you choose to do and the direction you choose to go and what occurs because the world creates a complication, or your choices create a complication, or your failed rolls to try to to blow the safe in the bank create a complication. Those are the things that happen to protagonists in our stories, right? But you're not heroes, and you're not here to successfully rob the bank and successfully win the day. You are fucking bank robbers. Good luck.
Yeah, that whole the game that we just played, the experience we just played, rather, for me, is more enriching, and I get more out of it. It's like watching some kind of a high art movie, or I wouldn't say that. I'm not aligning it to that. I'm talking about as opposed to a superhero movie.
Sure.
They both got their own real. But whenever you get into something that is more relatable to a human being, and you want to experience that. Me, I was just trying to survive on that mountain.
Right.
From the cold, from everything that was a place, and from the potential of us being near a a bear den, and then these.
Yep.
I didn't know fully what these indies were capable of, and then having to discover that.
Well, and I could have complicated your life by making Sarah a company broad who's out there saying, "Damn it, we got to find this silver, man. We got to get off our asses, get up the mountain, and get the silver." I could have made her.
All these people.
I could have made her a time gadget and a complication, and every time I rolled a complication, it could have been Sarah busting your ass about getting the job done. I don't care about Lobos. Kill those sons of bitches. We got to get this. So, but I made her. I made her a different kind of NPC, but I could have really made her a company woman who's sent out there and she's your boss and she's leading the way and she's cracking the whip and saying, "I don't care who those guys are. We're up here to get the silver. Damn it." You know.
You felt her in the moment, and she was in fact a response to my call. It was call and response.
Yeah.
The way I was interacting with her, the way I approached her, kind of fed into how I would feel about approaching her in the first place. The way she responds to me.
Right. Well, again, I showed you her nervousness. I showed you, didn't tell her. I showed you how she felt, what she was about, and it cued you to treat her a particular way, which confirmed her character. If I had shown you immediately. She's literally sitting in the shotgun. If I had started saying, "Hey, she's shotgun, she's barking at Ronnie, get us up these tracks. We got to get up to those mine tailings and start looking for silver," and you would have been in the back seat. You would have literally been in the back seat behind this bossy broad who is going to be dictating your pace, right?
Yeah, I mean, people do things naturally in life.
So I could have shown you that kind of Sarah. Right.
But when I reached up and I put my hand on her shoulder, she didn't shrug it off. So just like in real life, sometimes there's some trepidation in how you interact with other people, and then you find out that we're able to do that in the game as character and character play off of each other because they're both true. Yep. So I'm testing the waters with her, and you're testing it with me. You're finding out who she is.
I'm also playing the character. I'm saying, okay, I know Sarah is this. Now, Sarah doesn't have to be real deep. She needs to be what she is as an NPC, and I need to be consistent about Sarah. I can't have Sarah be schizophrenic, where she's 1 minute she's scared and this is new to her and she's never been out of Dodge, and the next minute she's a bossy woman telling you what to do. That is inconsistent.
That would be a bossy woman telling
but she would need to be that from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you would write that from the beginning or have a concept of her from the beginning. And then maybe she shrugged my hand on her shoulder, and then maybe I find out later on through our trials that she has, that we have this bonding thing where she just suffered a divorce and then has some chip on her shoulder.
Sure.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you can, that's the beauty of it. You can get into subtle things, and you can have these realizations about characters as they develop and play.
Right.
So, like, having a thing that you have to describe yourself to, like, she's this or that. There's always the ability that when you're playing in character as character, you get to delve into a little bit of the character's psyche and examine them, and things will become known to you as presented. You go, this is, you know what I mean? And I noticed the band, the missing ring or whatever like that, or like you could say there's ways to cue different things as you have these realizations. That's what the beauty of it is. It's drama. It's human drama in the midst of situational chaos that you have to contend with. It's not about, hey, I want to be a superhero, and how many bullets can I put in him before he shoots me? And the experience is about rolling dice to see if you hit or if you fail. That's a different game. What we're looking at is, like I said, the pacing can be changed according to how we're playing. Whether we fast track to a different thing, but you always want to dive in and get micro on that moment to where that means something, then you back out. These scenes will only stay as long as they're welcome before you transition to something else. And it's a natural thing that we play off of each other and find the pacing of this. If it's important, it needs to be highlighted, then we'll have a moment, and then we move along. You're making your way up the mountain. It's exactly like nothing's in a movie that isn't or shouldn't be in a movie unless it
means something. It should be telling us something about characters or something about the world.
That's how we
You're
pace and
learning
track
something
Space
in every
Command.
scene that should be meaningful or telling you something. Yeah.
But see, even when a player, and I take a moment to put my hand on there, you know I'm cueing at something, right? And she goes, "This." I'm saying, "Calm down." It's to show my character, who my character is with
Yeah.
her,
Right.
how she responds in kind, or how you feel that she takes that
Right.
and responds in kind. Then
Correct.
it kind of sets a trajectory,
Right.
you know, in a certain
Right.
direction. Or maybe
And I
something
could have
peculiar
rolled
to
when
activate.
you took the action to
Yes.
affect the NPC. I could have rolled for a complication, and that complication could have been, "Don't touch me, you bastard! I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. I can't trust you with that goddamn ball gun. This guy's an idiot." You know,
But that's half the story.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
half the enjoyment
Yep.
of me and her
Right.
in our relationship having
Yeah.
to contend with. That's
Right.
what I said. Like the complication for me was like in set that I had to come up the mountain to. I couldn't just be more like the lone wolf or skirting around like that, but I had to keep advise them or
Right.
lead them or scout out or get
Yeah.
them safely up there in my mind, and then it's who I'm dealing with
Right.
in the pressure. So my interaction with my fellow NPCs or my my direct colleagues on this journey, whether or not if they're real life people sitting around a table or they're
Right.
NPCs that you have,
Right.
is important. That is what it's about. That interaction on that level. Even
Yeah.
my interaction with the people, I could have had face-to-face dialogue with Lobo.
Yeah.
You know, if he would have had me in the fire or whatever, that would have been something different.
Sure.
And how does that pan out? We
Sure.
don't know in life when we occur it. And when we're having this, you and I,
Yeah.
these characters, playing these characters, we don't fully know. We may have an inclination to the type of character they are, but like we discover stuff as we play. And this discovery, this Pandora's box when you open it, is what's beautiful. It doesn't have to be like, you could, like discovering that they had some kind of a warrior's code or code of honor, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether they did Harry carry on themselves or whether they were killed or
Yeah.
from the disgrace of things or whatever.
Yeah. You don't
Or just
know.
how they
I don't really know. You don't know. You could guess.
whether they had a god or
Right.
whatever, that stuff you don't have to.
No.
As we interact,
All
and
you
those
know is they were
conversations
dead and you didn't
confirm
do
or deny
it. Yeah.
truth,
Right.
then the truth will appear.
Right.
As if I go in that direction or
Yeah.
get wrapped up in some kind of direction. I
And
think
you don't
they
even have to
necessarily
know the
take.
truth about a lot of things. You may never find out why
Exactly.
were they asked to commit Harry Carey, were they murdered by the Lobo.
That makes you feel like you're in a living, breating world
Yeah.
that is unknown until you go try to know it.
Until you want to
even
confirm
as a
it.
presenter don't know.
Yeah.
And then we're allowed to
Right.
follow as player characters into an area. I don't necessarily want to get in contact with them again, but I know probably a little bit of inkling about how I may deal with them
Right. Right.
in the future if I can
Yeah.
leverage that to my advantage.
Yeah.
But I don't fully know, and you don't either.
Right.
But see, the dice will provide that
Yeah. That's right.
as well as the
You are a
situations that
character
are-
in space, and you're going to make decisions, and those decisions are going to go one way or another, and there'll be complications that come out of that. And then there will be, again, I've said it before, we plant the seed in Dark Age of Mana, we watch that tree and all those different branches and leaves grow, and they can go in an umpteen numbers of ways. And the multiplier is numbers of decisions, dice rolls, and the multiplier is the number of people involved in the narrative. So again, there were you, David, and Jose today in this little adventure. That encounter with Lobo might have been 100%, would have been 100% different encounter with Lobo.
Yeah, because I'm dealing with different personalities around the table, and you have to contend with that too. You were operating the NPCs,
Right?
But this was it's nuanced, it's subtly complex, and like I said, as long as people have a pacing and a timing, that when they go into a scene, if it's important, which generally the player characters, you let them lead with that, because a lot of the game is they want to follow what's important to them.
Right.
So you, as a presenter, naive narrator, responding kind of that. If it was important for me to have a dialogue with Sarah in the front seat, going calm down, that was followed through. And then it's funny, and then you go like, okay, then you're up the mountain later on. But I wanted to impart that as my character with her and build some kind of rapport.
Correct.
So that's what I mean. That may fold into later on how she reacts.
Well, and it'll fold into later on. Again, as complications arise, I have options. How would Sarah complicate this situation? You know what? He's kind of built a rapport with Sarah, so she wouldn't make this more difficult on him. But Ronnie, he's naive, he's gun-toting, he thinks he's cock of the walk. He might complicate
You're not
this.
premeditating into this. It's just kind of.
I'm thinking to myself, okay,
that.
complication. Oh, he already said I'm looking for a cave and animal tracks. When I rolled the complication, well, then it's obviously it's spring. It's a bear. Again, you fed me the maison scene in which it would be a bear coming through.
Yeah, and like I said, after they kill the bear, maybe we can use the bear cave. And I thought as a character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, going to track down to where.
Yeah.
But that there could be cubs in there. They're going to know where the bear came from. Yeah. They know this area. We need to get out of here as fast as possible.
And then
so in the moment, it supplied me with what I need to know as a character.
Well, the next playtest, now you're going to have to run it. You'll roll everything, and I'll get to try this liberated in-character as character, without having to worry about dice, character sheet numbers, and nonsense. And I'm going to, I'll have my character, right? And
great, man. We gotta.
And you can choose chapter 12, which is whatever interplanetary. When we're in interplanetary portion of our timeline, whatever chapter you want to do, space or. But again, I think it's going to be very cool that every chapter is tied to as our rules or as our game it presents its settings. It's going to be based on timeline. So we're doing Wasteland Earth, chapter 7. So that's taken into that chapter.
It'll be in a way too where you get there in the next chapter, but you can always go back.
Well, that's my point. Imagine you can bounce around with different characters, but you could also say, "Hey, we're going to be characters in chapter 12, traveling down to the wasteland of Earth." But even though it's 2129, it'll just be in advance. But imagine that you can experience Space Age of Man at different timelines. But those different timelines are also tied to settings. When mankind was at the needle, when mankind got into space, when mankind has to go back to North Africa to mine minerals in the wasteland of North Africa or whatever, right? So you've got these, you can correlate the science fiction chapter-wise to also what's the level of science fiction to the actual timeline of man's development or man's directions, right?
Yeah, whether it's the moon or the asteroid belt or Mars.
Whatever we write in these timeline chapters as well, we already have quite a bit, right? It's just how do we want to break the book into chapters saying, hey, and again, character gen will be character gen, but when you say to somebody, hey, the character gen is 1 page long and you're really just naming them, picking a thing, and writing a handful of sentences that kind of remind you who your character is and what your character is about, that's it. And then, but by the way, you might want to read chapter 7 because we're going to be playing Wasteland, and it'll give you an idea of what kind of character you want to fit into chapter 7, the Wastelands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. It already is great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Let me go